Welcome to Shelor Select. The whole system will be ready in a few minutes. Take your seat and enjoy.
All right, James, I think we're rolling, bro.
All right, man. Good.
Let's get this. There we go. Now I can hear you. James is back, everybody. In case you're wondering what happened to him the last few episodes, he is back.
I never left.
But
Well, I mean, I left your house.
oh, okay. Well, he didn't go too far. But James brought us some treats tonight.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, I was gifted this, so I feel like the right move would be to gift it again.
Dude's a regifter. A gifter.
I mean, let me say, I guess, I would like someone else to also enjoy it as well. So, I mean, I got it by Pat, and he was on the podcast already. Shout out.
Shout out to Big Pat.
Yeah, so this is the first time you ever had it, right?
Yeah, first time I've had this. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, what is a scotch?
Yep.
Glig Morgange?
Glimmerangi.
For those who can read.
Start with a little bit and then just see what you like. See if you like it. And this is just like a real sip.
Yeah. So for backgrounds, for people not watching or people just listening, just never had a lot of scotch, so I've always been more of a whiskey bourbon guy. Let me smell that. So Pat's a big scotch drinker, right?
Yeah, more recently, yes. Like he's that guy that is telling me the difference. Like when we say he's that guy, he was telling me the difference between like where they're made, what the differences are, and some of them last a couple weeks. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, so help yourself with whatever you like. To I guess how they're made based on the area, meaning like the ingredients are obviously different. And, like he had Lagavulin, so we had some of that, and then
That's really expensive, right?
I mean, they're all pretty. I mean,
not all scotch is expensive.
Like you could go get. Like, how much is Buffalo Trace?
30-ish.
30.
Usually.
So, like, when we were in the car earlier, I looked at, like, this model. Is that the 750? Milliliter?
I'm assuming it's a fifth, yeah. It looks
so,
like
yeah, that one was like $40 or something like that. So, I mean,
that's pretty.
It's not too bad.
Probably pretty reasonable for it.
Yeah, I mean, like, like I said, when we were in the car earlier, I looked at, and it was like, one of them was $800. For it was 1996 bottle.
Yeah,
but so I mean, obviously, maybe that's true for anything. But I feel like some of them are a little more expensive the nicer you get. So,
well, I mean, the older it is, obviously, the better it is. I snagged there. I once read an article that after you graduate college, if you're drinking anything that's less than 12 years of age, as far as scotch and whiskeys and stuff, that you've not grown up yet.
Salute, brother. I'm glad I'm finally drinking this.
So made me think, okay, so maybe I should start spending a little money, some money on.
It's good to enjoy like the nicer things, and like this is one of those where I'm sure you've had whiskey where you've been like, okay, that's good. Like like Buffalo Trace is really good, but and I'm not an expert at any of this, but you know what tastes good. Like that's like when you go to let me finish this candy bar before I move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So like the scotch, like this tastes really good to me. Like I could drink it neat as it is right now.
For sure.
But I think that tastes good. Now if I were to do this with, I don't know, something like rubbing alcohol, vodka, same thing to me. I can't ever I can't do that. Or I know some people that can. Mm-hmm. If I had it in a mixed drink and I didn't taste a lot of it, yeah, I'd probably like it. But Buffalo Trace I could drink neat. Mm-hmm. And not drinking it like it's iced tea, but it tastes good. So like to me it does. But it's like with wine. Like when someone's like, "Oh, what kind of wine do you like?" Well, there's so many that I could say like, "Well, red or white." And those are two I know exist. No, like between like a really dry one or like a white wine or like a really sweet one. Like Sarah and I drank a lot of sweet wine for a while. Like Oliver was that cheap one at Kroger that we were buying up for a while.
I remember that one.
And like we went through a phase where we just drank sweet wine and try new stuff. So like I like what tastes good, and this tastes good.
Yeah, I mean I agree 100% with you. And we touched on it earlier today that we've been moving furniture all day and driving around town. In case anybody was wondering how our Saturday went after our workout, but I'm not a foodie or anything, and this kind of kind of comes back home is what I'm trying to say. I've been watching Anthony Bourdain.
Oh yeah, dude, I love
on HBO Max, HBO Max, Parts Unknown, and I guess he's a foodie, or is his background he's a chef?
Oh, he was, yeah.
Yeah, so he's talking about the foods and drinking and eating and all the random places he's visiting, and to me, he's man, this is most delicious I've ever had, and I don't know, he's talking about satisfying as far as a glass of scotch or the best steak you've ever had or some fish, or I don't know, he ate up some calamari, but he said something about how good it was and better, and I was just like, for me it's just food,
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just not a foodie.
Yeah, I mean, but
I just never had that.
Maybe it's one of those. Maybe you say you're not a foodie, as in like when I think of foodie as someone that's like they always want to go try something new. Or I always think for some reason I always think of like foodie as in like Instagram. Someone's really into like food as it tastes good, right?
Right.
But I also like the experience of going to a restaurant and trying something new. I like going and trying this type of food, or I like traveling. But it's not just about the food; it's going about the experience. Maybe that's the way I think a lot of people see it. So I mean, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
like, you like the good food,
yeah.
but it's not like you're traveling across the country to go to this new restaurant, or hey, I gotta go try. So like when there's a guy like Anthony Bourdain, I'm just rambling right now. So
no, that's fine.
Tell me if I'm on the wrong level. But
that's what I'm trying to say is that he seems to get a lot of satisfaction just to go to these random places and get that food, and that's his thing as far as like if we were to hit a big lift or something, and,
right?
And that's what we get. I guess our high on, but I just never been that type of person with food and drinks, but I mean, I like them. I mean, don't get me wrong. Right. I would love to go to good restaurants and stuff, but
it's like we talked about it in the car also, and we were talking about how like paying a lot of money for a couple grand bottle of scotch. I mean, for me, maybe that's right. More realistically, like right now, that would be not something high on my list. When someone was like, "All right, if I were to give you $1,000, hey, get that stimmy check. What are you gonna buy?" I don't even know if this would be on a list. It would be like
maybe a
$30
bottle
left over. Yeah. Okay, I'll get a bottle of scotch, but I wouldn't say I'm gonna go out and drop $1,000 on a bottle of scotch.
Nah.
I'd be afraid to drink it. I'd also probably put it behind glass or something cool.
Just protect it.
It'd be one of those like, you got a $1,000 bottle of scotch back there. Where is it? I don't look at it. I don't even want. Don't look at it because I don't want no one to know where it is.
No, but, I mean, talking about my boy Joe, he had that. I don't know if it was you and I are talking about this, or maybe Lance, but anyway, Justin Wren. Yeah. Okay, maybe it was you and I talking about this, but he runs the Fight for Forgotten, where they do something in the
jungle to
pygmies.
Yes, yeah, and in Africa, and I think there's another organization. But yeah, the Fight for the Forgotten, or Remember the Forgotten.
Yeah, that's what his foundation is, but I can't remember exactly what they do. But it's a good foundation. It's something about the pygmies and the jungles.
Yeah, and I don't know exact details of it, and that's one of those like I'm familiar with, but I just don't know where the money goes, what it goes to do, but. It's on his on Joe's advertisement is what you're saying.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, and he actually had the guy on one of his podcasts,
right?
Too,
he's been on a couple of them, I thought.
Yeah, he's pretty popular. I think he used to fight, maybe.
He was an MMA fighter.
Yeah, so I think that's why they're bros.
But
hey, Rocky, stop.
But yeah, no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but what I was going with is that last time he had him on, he was doing an event with Buffalo Trace where. It's a raffle. You pay, I think I actually did it. It's $10 for X amount of tickets or $20. I forgot what he put in, but you get a tour of Buffalo Trace's distillery and you get a stay. You get a night stay in their new lodge, and then they do a free testing or, you hang out with all your boys that go there or something. But anyway, what I was getting at was that he brought Joe a barrel or like 4 bottles different Buffalo Trace brands, or
like
drinks,
different types of the.
Yeah, I guess others are older. Ones might be. I don't even know how they make whiskey. I'm so dumb with it. Smoked in a barrel,
aged in a barrel, right?
Smoked in a barrel. He's smoking meat.
They always say it's a smoky taste, right? Or
But anyway, he did a taste test with Joe, and he said, if you like this bottle better than X bottle or A bottle,
right?
We'll put your logo on it and make it your own little Joe Rogan brand.
So like a CBD with
sort of
Kill Cliff, right?
Yeah. So, and he was just, they all taste the same. I don't really know what's good and what's not. And I think the other guy, Justin, really didn't know how to. I think he was trying to help, but he gave him a little notebook to write down his thoughts. But I would have been the same way. Is what I was trying to say. So, well, I mean, I guess some of them I really taste. That's like, oh God,
it's rough,
terrible.
Yeah, I think there's very few.
But,
we're picking on the same thing. Is that there's very few things I could drink neat. Like like tequila, no. Vodka, God no. There's very few things. Like there's certain bourbons. Like my brother, we were playing Apex the other night. We were talking for a little while, and he really likes Bullet, and that's just one of those. His taste is that he just really likes Bullet. He hasn't had Buffalo Trace. So I wasn't, saying like, oh, by the way, you get rid of that trash, right? But I was like, hey, you should try it if you like Bullet. I think you'd like this too. So, but for me, I've had Bullet before, but I like Buffalo Trace better. Not that Bullet's bad.
Yeah.
But there's, once you start having better things, like better versions of things, like a top level scotch, or I'm not saying these are the best out there. I'm sure there is, but like you've had good whiskey and you've had bad whiskey.
Sure. Yeah.
So like house or whatever they're pouring, right?
I've had real terrible whiskey. Before.
So it's not just as if like I'm gonna take house whiskey and I'd sip on that. It's more in a shot in that case. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a different thing. But being able to sit there and enjoy something that's really nice is where I'm. I guess where.
Yeah, that's a good point because when we were going to Sharky's or. I guess anytime time we went out, like all the boys went out together, or whatever. If we said shots, when I ordered, I would always say house because we're about to shoot this.
For sure,
I'm not going to spend.
It's just passing the lips, man.
Yeah,
it's just getting there.
$20 a shot. I mean, I'm not cheap by anything, but I was like, we're just shooting this shit.
Right.
I'm not going to go crazy. So yeah, give me your house, which is usually Evan Williams, I think, around here. Could be wrong on that.
I know it comes in a plastic bottle. but yeah, But I guess back to you were saying, like, bringing those multiple versions, and if you're someone that has had a wide variety, you could probably say, like, hey, I can tell the difference. Yeah. But for regular guys like us, like, oh, I like that, it tastes good. Or like being the foodie, right? I think this food tastes good, but I'm not necessarily driving down to New Orleans to go to this, Cajun festival that only has this specific type of food, and that's a big deal for you. But if you're into scotch and whiskey and you want to go to the place where they make it, and then man, I can really tell the difference. I mean, that's more of like if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. If you want to spend $1,000 on a bottle of scotch and every time you drink it you're having the it's the cat's pajamas, you're having a good day. That's
well, kind of what we touched on earlier, that if you're making a 6-figure plus salary,
right.
And you go buy, I don't know, a couple $100 bottle of anything you want, wine, scotch, it's just like you say, ashtray money. But for someone like me, I mean, I'm not going to talk for you, but it's just, I think that's to spend $300 on that, right?
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, I think we're both in the same boat.
Yeah, so it's just that's cool and all, but maybe one time, for a big occasion, anniversary, whatever. But just on a regular. Negative.
I'd be more likely to try if this is the case of like, hey, this is a airplane bottle of what this is. Mm-hmm. This is the original bottle. Let's say it was this bottle right here.
Okay.
Which is what, the fifth or seven?
I think 750 is a fifth.
750, yeah. So if they were like a fifth of this is $100, I'm like, okay, I don't drink a lot. $100 is a lot for me if I were to buy something. So like a bottle of like scotch or alcohol, anyways. I would say I would rather buy a small version. Okay, maybe what if it's $10? Okay, or
sure.
$10 I like that shot. But I'd be more likely to be like, I'm going to spend $10 on that, even though I know it's just a little shot, but I could at least taste it and be like, okay, this is really good compared to I'm buying a $100 bottle. I'm fully invested, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, I agree with you. If it's all, I guess it's all relative, right? If you're Bill Gates and I guess you don't. It's like, when was the last time he probably saw a $1 bill or a $5 bill? Right?
What the hell's that?
He probably doesn't even carry a wallet around or anything like that. But
I wonder if whenever he goes to places, just because people knowing who he is, they automatically just say, "Nah, don't worry about it."
Or
it's
like, I have I own majority of the money that exists in the world.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know, but
He's probably got people who just take care of that stuff for him.
yeah, I'm sure that's a lifestyle that I will never know anything about and can't even comprehend.
You're not inventing the next Microsoft.
No, I don't. I mean, I get.
Never say never.
There's still time. I mean, anything could happen. But yeah,
No.
yeah. But I guess like to go off what you're saying, yeah, it's that's something that if you really like that, and that's ashtray money for you. For Bill Gates to go and buy $1,000 bottle of scotch is the same as us buying a $30 bottle. Well, Buffalo Trace is like what, $30 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty reasonable.
Usually that's usually my limit. Is 30-ish. I think. I don't know what a bottle of Bullet or I usually go with Makers, and I think that's about 30. But yeah, I mean,
I inherited a lot from Sarah's grandfather after he passed. They gave me a lot of his old some of his liquor cabinet contents. And there's some stuff in there that's really good, and there's some stuff. So I don't think I'll ever have to buy anything for a while if I didn't want to. But I might go again for this since it's not too bad. It's only like $40 or $50.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I think it's I can't remember if we talked about this last time, but Pat made a good point that if he was going to buy a bottle, of $30, $40 and on up, and something that he could drink nice and smooth and just relax with, watch a movie or whatever, that it's not inclined to just try to crush it all in one night.
Oh yeah.
As far as when back in college, you and me, or from my experience, me and my roommates, we got to finish this before we go to the bar.
Yeah.
I thought we were pre-gaming and not getting drunk before we go to the bar.
Now the bar's a long shot.
Yeah, but and what he said is that I can't remember if I said this before. I probably have. So, folks, I've already said this and y'all have heard it. Sorry, but
that's work. No, I'm just kidding.
You might as well just go to the bar then if you're just going to try to finish the bottle in one night and spend $40 as opposed to just have a couple of drinks and relax and wake up the next morning and hate yourself.
Right.
That's usually what happens to me.
Yeah, I mean, I would for sure that that's.
I'm not an alcoholic, but I mean.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying, but you're not going to go out and be like, hey, I'm going out to have a really good time. Okay, I might enjoy one of these, but I'm not going to order 4 scotches at a bar.
Hell no.
No, I'll probably be just like whiskey and Coke. What do you want? House was whatever, fine. So, it's a different situation. So, yeah, I totally agree with that. I remember him saying that too. Like, I'm going to enjoy this, so I have no problem paying that. And it's not bad. It's a bad thing to enjoy nice things. Spoil yourself and get something nice, like get a nice bottle of scotch or get a nice bottle of whiskey that you really like. And doesn't mean that you have to have three glasses of it to be like, all right, I made it worth it.
What is when you go out to eat? So you went out with Sarah for steak dinner. Do you have a drink that you usually get? Like what is your drink? Besides what we've been.
Oh,
talking,
you mean if I was just to order a drink from the bar or something like that?
You're sitting down with a nice dinner or whatever. I mean, do you have James is going. I know James is going to order Tom Collins.
Usually,
dirty sherry or whatever.
Either recently I've gone we went last time. I think I ordered just an old fashioned.
Yeah,
and then I used to bounce back and forth between just a whiskey ginger or I'd do whiskey sour. I don't know. I usually it's more the darker liquors. I don't like a lot of the clear stuff. I don't do.
I don't blame you. I'm the same way.
So
yeah,
is there something you do?
Usually, if old fashioned or Manhattan, if we're kind of up and moving around and not really sitting, usually I whiskey ginger. I've had a whiskey sour and they're good, but or bourbon and ginger.
That's one of those if I got a whiskey sour, I'm not drinking 3 or 4 of them. It's this one. I'll have one, and then after that, I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna have it's like eating really sour food or something like that, and you're just like, okay, my mouth is done with it.
I think a lot of for me depends on the setting and what we're
right.
If we're out with just boothing or just for the boys are out.
Right.
I guess that would depends on what I'm ordering or drinking. Well, drinking as far as not ordering food.
Actually, when we went to the farmhouse, and when you and Chad took me out and spoiled me, take me and got big ass fat steak at the farmhouse, and I think you ordered. You were the first one. The woman asked was like, "What do you want to drink?" And you're like, "I'll have old fashioned." And then Chad and I were both like, "That sounds awesome. 2 more, please."
That does sound good.
So, and that was awesome. That was a really fun night too. But that was one of those where we went back to the, Sarah and I went back to the farmhouse. And I think I got old fashioned because I was like, I had a great experience with that. I knew it was good. They didn't have the same. I would have got that steak again if they didn't. Or was it prime rib? Yeah, it was prime rib.
I think it was prime rib.
And not a fat steak, fat piece of prime rib. Anyways, it was nice. But I was a little heartbroken that they didn't have it. So, anyways.
Why didn't they have it?
So we got there, and they're like, oh, by the way, we don't have a couple things on the menu. And then I was like, okay, all right. They're talking. And then it's one of those where she asked, like, okay, do you want to have like anything to drink? And I was, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, I'll have an old fashioned. Sarah got like I think like another mix. It was like vodka and cranberry or something like that. And then I was like, oh, wait, what did you not have? And she's like, oh yeah, we don't have any more of the prime rib. And I was like, all right, Sarah, we can still leave now. We want. No,
Did you go to shenanigans?
All the shit on the walls, right? No, we still had a great dinner. I can't remember what I ended up getting, but I think I just got a steak or something. But it's like, we went, and then like a couple months later, obviously. And then I had that in my mind. I was like, I'm getting old fashioned. I'm having
you already had
prime rib. I already knew it was great. So things like that is where I'd have like more of like a drink like that. But if we're out, like we just walked into like a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
Like, if you want a mixed drink, all right, just give me a whiskey Coke or whiskey ginger.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. Or get a bucket of beers or something. But
sorry.
Yeah, have a nice little steak dinner with bourbon to compliment it.
Mm-hmm.
So. That's my usually go to. And I don't fuck with. I will drink tequila usually.
Yeah,
but shots, maybe a mixed drink.
That's really the only time. I mean, margarita.
I haven't had a margarita in a while.
Yeah, the only mixed drink that I really had with tequila would be like margarita. I went through a phase in college where we drank a lot of tequila with people that I was with, and I was like, okay, I think I'm done with this too.
Have you had the Rocks tequila yet?
Oh no, I haven't.
It's good.
It's really good.
I think it's smooth, and I have drank that neat, and I've enjoyed it. Just chilling with it because if you watch his Instagram, he'll post of him just having a fat pancakes with a thing of tequila. Like it's literally 20 pancakes. It looks like 3 chocolate chip cookies the size of his head, and it's like damn, like his cheat meal, whatever. I think he does them on the weekends. Then he goes to sleep at 4 a.m. and wakes up at 7 and works out, which I have no idea how that works.
He probably listens to like David Goggins like videos like before he goes to bed.
I wonder
up at 4.
I wonder if he's one of those people, Cameron Haynes and David Goggins who just grinds and just doesn't need sleep. Which I guess I would think. I don't know what Cameron Haynes does or David Goggins.
I think.
Wait. For folks, Cameron Haynes is he just runs marathons every day.
Oh yeah,
and then he's a bow hunter.
He's a bow hunter is his thing, but he's got a full-time job.
He's got a full-time job of like a water treatment plant or something.
It's just a full-time job. It's not like he is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly the job, but I know it's not something like he's a movie star.
Yeah, it's a regular 40-hour a week job, and he also gets a marathon in every day. I think it's a marathon. Or close to, or at least half.
Essentially a marathon. Like, so he may not run all marathon at once, but he may run in the morning, he may run in the evening.
And then David Goggins was he a SEAL?
He's a Navy SEAL, yeah.
Yeah. And so, and he runs ultra marathons.
Yeah, like just ridiculous ultra marathons.
Yeah.
Too,
so, folks, if you ever feeling bad or something about hard work, look them 2 dudes up. Did you see where? I don't know. We kind of might be going off topic here, but David Goggins did that 4x4 by 48. And I don't know how it ended up. I think was it a few weeks ago, maybe last month?
It was pretty recently, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, folks, if you don't know what that is, it's every 4 hours he would run 4 miles for 48 days. Yeah. Correct?
Or 48.
No, for 48 hours. 48 hours, not 48 days. God,
he probably would still do it though. I bet
he probably would stay hot. That's his slogan right there.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you just like thinking about it like
they did it in Vegas, I think too.
Yeah. He because it can't.
I don't know if Cameron went there.
No, I'm just saying. Like recently, I was watching a video of Cam going down and training with Goggins, and I watched the Joe Rogan clips.
Yeah, they kind of taught each other
talking about it. And I was doing something really like invigorating, like folding laundry, and I'm listening to Cam Haynes talk about going with Goggins. I was like folding so fast and intense, right?
I can do this. Do you wash and fold all in the same day?
I was super motivated after. I was like, I listened to
I'm
the
doing
guys.
it.
I washed them by hand too.
You got up the old washboard?
No, I just like spun the dryer really. I am putting that.
Dude, just standing there. Like, what are you doing, James?
Yeah.
Gotta stay hard.
Yeah, he says, "Don't be a bitch." And I'm like, okay, all right. I washed my clothes by hand. So I guess I technically didn't do it by hand, but it was like a 50-50. No.
So
Yeah, I did wash them all in one day. I pulled them all in one day.
that's always a good thing. Get that out of the way.
But yeah. But the 4x4.
About 48.
Yeah.
You think you can do that?
4 miles.
So, all right. So, 4 miles, use it
2 days, right? Every 4.
3 miles is a 5K?
Yeah.
So, that's roughly 25 minutes?
On average, it's probably about 20 to 30 minutes for most folks.
For a 5K?
For a 5K.
So, then add another mile?
So
maybe 31?
Let's say an hour and a half.
6.5.
Right.
Wait. An hour and a half to...
I was going to say, so like if it was for 3 miles... Oh, sorry.
So 4 miles.
My math is way jacked. I'm thinking of way down the road.
I was like, an hour and a half?
Sorry, I'm thinking of like... I was already started taking like recovery and all... Anyways.
Okay, hey, let's break this down.
Okay, so let's say 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
Average, right?
Average, maybe, for an average folks. If it was me to do it.
If you're not trying to kill yourself
Yeah.
and get a... Okay,
Going
yeah.
from-
Okay, I'd say 40.
Going from 0 to David Goggins on my face off, I'm probably running it on at least like 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay, so
as maybe as a better at time.
We'll go 40, 45. So that gives you roughly 3 hours and 15 minutes of rest
Right.
until you got to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Then, so what you think the first few miles, the first 2 or 3 times you do it, you're okay. So you get 12 miles in.
I bet, given the amount of time, if I knew I had 4 hours. So I think the only thing that would blow me up. Well, let me finish this thought first, I guess.
Okay.
I feel like I could physically do it, and that the mental part would be the hardest thing for me. Knowing that I finish. Let's say it takes me 45 minutes to an hour at some point. I stretch it out to an hour, so I'm not necessarily trying to run my fast pace. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, because you're not gonna blow yourself out the first.
Because I know it's going to be 48 hours.
Yeah, you got 2 days of this.
So
with no sleep.
In my mind, it would be like the way I think I would physically be able to do it for at least for the first part. I don't know about the 2 days. I'm just spitballing here, but I think I might be able to hold up physically for a little while. I don't do a lot of running, so I think I'd be fit enough to maintain for a while. I think the hardest part with me, knowing that I have to make sure I get it done in this time so that I could rest and recover enough to be like, I have to do this and again.
Yeah.
And again. For 2 days.
See, that would mean...
So that's the mental, that's where those guys are absolutely outside their minds.
That's what I mean. When it gets into say we'll start at 12 p.m. lunchtime.
Right.
Okay, so then your next one is at 4 o'clock, right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then your next one's at 8. Then I think I'd be okay until then. But after the 8 o'clock one, then your next one's going to be at midnight.
Right.
Then again, back at 4 a.m. And those are going to be too, like, I'm not sleeping, and then my body's wanting to go to sleep at this time.
Yeah. Like, that's, like I said, I might be able to, like, for the first little bit,
yeah,
I might be able to do a day. But then, I don't know. I think I might be able to just say, hey, get through the next one. Like, do that mentality of, like, don't stress about the 48 hours. Just do one more.
Yeah.
But going from not running like that to doing, I don't know.
You think your body would break down for running
much?
much?
I think I might be jacked up before I'd get
just because you're not getting any recovery at all?
I just don't think, I don't think for me.
I mean, even if you were eating correctly, trying to drink.
I think if I train for it, if I train for it, I might be able to finish. But based on like right now,
your fitness
I don't
right
think
now,
I would finish.
See, that's what I wonder, man.
I feel like I'd be pretty.
What's it going on?
And I mean, I think I'd be, maybe I probably could do the day, but I don't know if I could. I think I'd probably end up doing a lot of energy just to finish that day. But this is just me. I don't know. I have no problem failing at anything, so it's not like I'm like, yeah, I'd be able to do it, no problem, man. But I think I might be able to hold a day, but I think that would be like you have a whole another day of this?
See, that's when your mind takes over.
Yeah.
And like, I guess what David Goggins is trying to say is that, you got to stay hard and make your mind push through. But that motherfucker pushes through a lot. He's fucked his knee up.
Oh, dude, have you seen pictures of his feet?
I've seen pictures of him, and it's
Do not
his
eat
feet, and it's
and then look
fucking
at those
gross.
feet. They're gnarly.
And there was a video where he had his knee drained or something, and so much fluid came. It was on his Insta, and so much fluid came out of that, and he was still just talking shit, and he was ready to go.
Yeah, dude is at another level. Like, turn it up to 10. Says turn it up to 11. That guy's at like a 17.
Dude, he stays that way too.
Yeah,
and I think I've been trying to read his book, or listen to it, audio book, but and he just he had a pretty rough childhood growing up. And that he trained himself to become mentally strong like that. And I think that's where he gets it. Like, just stay hard and push through, and it'll get better.
Yeah.
And
his
don't be a bitch.
He's got a book. I mean, his book is. I haven't read his book, but like I've listened to like the Joe Rogans and like the other interviews that he gives, and he'll like give you a little more tidbit here. And this interview, he'll say something different. And so I've heard a lot of those, and it's just man, his story is insane.
Yeah.
So, again, dude's mentally hard. Like.
And he used to be really fat, like overweight.
Like he was huge. Like
huge.
They I think they always put his photo up when he does, like when he's like telling a story to somebody. They always like the before and after kind of thing. But yeah, man, he's on another level.
So, I feel like some of our workouts go into that mental. Like a lot of them we would say on Ryan's that this is just a mental workout.
Right.
This is just see if you can push through, and you're probably not going to finish, and you're going to hate yourself. But those are the ones that I would struggle.
And those are the ones, like the affectionately called the fuck you workout. Like, hey, this is the way I thought about it. Like, this is a workout that you're not going to finish, but how hard can you push to get as far as you can? It's like how no one's going to be able to climb this mountain, but how far could you get?
Yeah. It's just made to beat you down, just to
and like some of his descriptions would be like, no one's finished this ever. Like you're not going to finish it. And so that mentality
it's like you
of
do
like,
finish
no
it,
one's done it.
Fuck?
Yeah, or else there's some funny business going on, right? But those are the workouts that are like, well, how can I grind knowing that it's impossible to finish? Like for those guys that are doing those runs, like that have done so many miles, and the David Goggins or the Cam Hanes that can do that every day and turn over and put their head on the pillow and then be like, I'm doing the same thing tomorrow. I'm running a marathon tomorrow. I'm running a marathon. I know I'm not saying it's easy, but I think the more that you would do it, the harder you would get. And like what iron sharpens iron, is that old saying goes, right?
I've heard that.
Like, so if you're constantly, pushing yourself up, I guess there's a breaking point you could have, but
every man has his breaking point, right? Ain't that a saying somewhere?
Those dudes are in it so that, they know I'm capable of doing this. I just need to make sure that I do the right things. In the interview, Cam Hanes was telling Joe that David Goggins has this hour-long or multiple hour or hour-plus stretching routine that he does every day.
Yeah.
And then they were talking about, oh, no, don't worry about that. We'll just go do this or whatever. And it was like, no, you don't understand. He cannot not do that. Like, if he doesn't do that, it's not like that's like he's on the tracks. He misses one, totally fucked up off the track. But that's one of those, he knows he has to do that to stay in a position where he's tomorrow going for another run. And he told the story, like, and people can go look at or go to the Cam Hanes interview, David Goggins training video or whatever. But so I'm not doing any justice to it, but he was like, they did this massive run and like he finished it. And then like the next day they were talking about doing stuff after this like insane long race. And then he was like, yeah, Dave woke up the next day and went for a 15-mile run. I was just like, after this it'd be like, Matt Fraser being like finishing this competition, like finishing like a regional workout and then resting a little bit, maybe go back to the hotel and then head down to the hotel gym and then just start working out for another 2.5 hours, 3 hours or something like that. That was just kind of like, again, like that's his thing. That's what keeps the wheel, like the hamster on the wheel.
Yeah. That's
his thing. So like doing the stretching and stuff, he's like, no, it's not going to happen. He's got to do that. Or else he's probably insano, man. Like, Captain Insano.
Do you think that he keeps pushing himself because he's actually trying to break his mind and to see what he can just keep pushing through, but he keeps succeeding and he hasn't found that
is a
breaking point, kind of what you said earlier.
Thought. Yeah. now that I'm thinking about it like that, I would say that's probably the thing. He's like, how can I test myself because I've done all these things. Maybe this is just me spitballing. That's an excellent question. Yeah, maybe it's his like, I know I can do these things.
Yeah.
Let me try a little harder to see if there's something I can't do. Like, to find that level. That's where like, those professional athletes, they're always trying so hard to get to the best top level of something. If their skill is like limitless, like if you're like a LeBron or a Michael Jordan, like, hey, I've won all these championships. Michael Jordan's like, I'm gonna go play baseball.
Yeah.
Like, that's maybe that's not a good example, but that's the first thing that just popped in my head. But that, so, that's I bet. I mean,
that's what I'm thinking is that I feel like if you look at scientific data, and I don't think marathon runners don't actually run a marathon every day to train.
Oh no.
So when Cam Hanes is running one every day, and David Goggins, and he's an ultra. What's the difference between a marathon? It's 26. What's an ultra? Don't it last a few days or something?
I mean,
don't they have to
camp?
camp?
It depends. I am not in the running sphere, so I know the ultra. I thought the ultra was like,
I don't know,
like a 50 plus or something like that. I think it was like 2 marathons or something like that. Ultra was like plus. I can't remember.
I wish I had my computer right here.
People
are screaming, "You idiots! It's this." So I'm just wondering if I shouldn't have looked at my phone because I thought about googling it real quick. That crap. Now I lost my train of thought.
So you're talking about the ultra, like training for the marathon, like
yeah. So
running a marathon every day.
But once you start running a marathon every day, that you're all right. So he's been doing it for so long that his body's just going to build up to it,
right.
And it's okay. We're doing this again, no problem, whatever. But you got to push through that threshold. So I wonder or Cam Hanes just like, this is how I stay in shape. Then he goes and shoots bows and lifts weights and whatever else he does.
I think it could be that as obviously.
I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that thought. Maybe
I'll pick it up and think that he does it every day because he knows that is what works for him. He knows that to keep himself sharp, to keep himself in the place he needs to be. He knows that I can do these things, and it's still going to be hard, but I know I can do them. So like, it's not as if he's just packing it in. Like, I know I'm going to be able to run it. So if I'm going to take a week off, I can still be able to run it.
Yeah.
It's like, if I keep doing this, it will be, maybe easier every time, or maybe he knows that. This is just me brainstorming right now.
No, that's what we're doing. That's good because that's what this is. That's why we do this. Get these thoughts out there.
I guess with the body, it's like in training. This is a very, very oversimplification of it, but with the whole accommodating resistance is how people get stronger. As you lift more weight, your body gets broken down, so your body adapts to lift that heavier weight.
Okay.
So now your body is stronger and able to lift that more weight easier, right? So that's why when, there's the old story of like the bull, was it Paul Bunyan and the bull or no?
The ox.
And his big blue
the
ox.
Blue
right?
ox.
Yeah. Like the idea was that he carried the bull every day. The bull still got bigger every day. We'll say every other day. I don't know.
He got bigger for carrying the bull.
But he got bigger every time because his body naturally adapted.
I forgot about that tale. All right.
Super like simplification.
Folks, if you've never heard about the bull.
Just write in P.O. Box. But yeah, I mean, that's how strength training works. You increase the load, you increase the difficulty, the body adapts, you change the stimulus. If you always did the same thing, like if you always did 10 reps of a squat, you'd probably be very good at doing those 10 reps. Would you be ever getting stronger at trying to do it? Like,
so you said like 10 body weight squats or a barbell
did 10
squat?
body weight squats for the rest of your life or whatever. This is, again, super simplification. And then you try to go squat, a PR of 400 pounds.
Yeah.
You've not prepared yourself. You're very good at those body weight squats, and let's say that's your event. You're going to be great at that.
Sure.
But if you never train and lift those heavier weights, your body's never going to adapt to that heavy load. You haven't
because it's only did your own body weight load.
Right. You've only ever trained in this method. So when you go to lift that heavier weight, that's why I think one of the most successful weightlifting programs is just start really light, add a little bit. Do that for a little while, then add a little bit more, rather than being like, I'm going to add 10 pounds, or I'm going to add 2.5 pounds. And there's That's why the power athlete guys, they're bedrock programming. Just shout out to them, I guess. But
John Wilburn.
they used to like there was a story of the guy that they used, like they trained that was like never like squatted before. He came in and he started at like 45 pounds, and then he'd be like, he would do the weight like the week, and then they'd be like, all right, next week you're gonna add 2.5 pounds or 5 pounds. So he went from empty barbell, then went to 5 pounds.
Yeah.
And then like he did this for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and then like he was doing fives. So he did a last set of
5 sets of 5s,
or like three sets maybe.
3 sets of 5.
It was like the rep range is 5 reps.
Gotcha.
I can't remember how many sets off the top of my head, but he did it religiously, and he added 5 pounds. And he at the end of the cycle that they had him set on, he was squatting like 500 pounds for 5 reps. So I mean, he went from squatting empty barbell to like and like probably leaving out some deer, but it was like ridiculous. And like during like the seminar when I was at it, like I'm like they always call them knowledge bombs. Like the back of my head just blew off. I'm like, I learned that stuff in school, but then he's telling me all, like they're saying like all the stuff of how they did it. They give you all the information of this is exactly what we did. This is the principle behind it. This is this is how the body works and adapts to change. And then at the end, you're like, this guy walked in and squatted an empty barbell. And then, maybe 6 months, 7 months, or 8 months, or I can't remember what it was. He's squatting like 500 pounds, or I can't even remember what the time. It was like insane. So like, if you visually, what's your heaviest deadlift? It's probably like in the 300, yeah, like 425, right? So if you can visualize how heavy 425 felt, if you imagine that if you were to like, I'm going to squat that, and the only thing I can do right now, I've never done it before, is to squat an empty barbell. Maybe that was, not like he was getting crushed under an empty barbell, but he'd never lifted anything before. So like for you to be like, all right, I'm going to watch somebody that's never classically worked out come in, and then a couple months later, let's say you went on vacation, long vacation, and you come back and that same dude is now squatting 500 pounds or 425. You're like, dang, that guy is really good. And he's like, well, he just gradually increased it and just his body adapted every time. Just like he carried the bull up the mountain, or the ox. As the bull got, oh my gosh, as the ox got bigger, he got bigger as a result because he had to, he'd be bigger because the ox is bigger. So he got bigger as a result. So that's that. I got really off topic. Sorry. But essentially that's how training works, right? You break your muscle down, your body adapts by building more muscle or putting more muscle down. So in the case of the ultra runners, like their body is constantly getting adapted to, I'm putting my body under stress for, how long is that marathon average? Like the fastest one is like under 2, breaking 2.
Okay.
So I'll say an average would be like 3.
Because Kenyan guys probably do that, right?
Like I think the guy broke the record under 2 or something.
I've only seen a handful of times.
Let's use phony baloney numbers and let's just say, all right, 3.5 hours.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Constantly you're setting yourself to train and you're doing, let's say you're running the equivalent of a 3.5 hour race. Every day. Tearing that shoe up. Your body is going to adapt. Your body is going to figure out how to make you capable of doing that. I mean, you either blow up, which some people can do, or your body figures out, okay, this is how survival happens, or this is how we can adapt to change. Yeah,
your body tries to adapt, but like you said, blow up. So
blow up as in like
bust an ACL,
or your knee gives out, or the thousands and thousands of steps and reps that you take by like running is some of the hardest things in the body,
of course.
And if you look at David Goggins' body or his feet, you can see that that's always the case. Don't eat and then look at his feet, like I said earlier. But his body's adapted, for better or worse, to handle that abuse of running those insane races. So it's one of those, like, it's amazing to think about what the human body is capable of, and then
it's pretty capable of a lot. If you do it correctly, but
for sure, yeah. Like and I guess in other words, like David Goggins is amazing. Like an insane level of drive and give, but he also takes care of his body by doing all these
he's
things.
just not going home and eating gummy bears and
he knows that
scotch.
I'm sure he does. Sure he's probably been like, I don't know. That guy has no days off, right? But
stay up.
Does the guys like Kim Haines that do those things every day? Do you think he's like, I'm gonna go have a beer and have a fat ass burger or a steak or something like that every once in a while?
I'm sure he treats himself, but yeah.
But he knows that if I ate like absolute garbage, my run would now suffer, and that takes away from what he wants. So so it's not like they just wake up and eat whatever the hell they want or do whatever the hell they want and not sleep any. I mean, you know that maybe he doesn't sleep a ton, but
Well, Frazier just, he literally said on Joe's, you can't outrun a bad diet.
you can't outwork a bad diet.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's such a
Shout out to Tito. What did he say today? That he's trying.
He's gonna give it a hell. He's gonna give it hell.
Yeah, he's trying to do it.
Give it hell. But that's exactly right. Yeah, you can't supplement a bad diet.
Yeah.
You can't outwork a bad diet. But yeah, those dudes, I think, just because that's what they care about.
But I think there's some misrepresentation. So like when Matt did say, and Joe also said this, there was a boxer, I forgot what he said, but after his workouts he would drink Coke.
Yeah.
Just to put the sugar back into his muscles. And then, Matt was saying he did it too. Well, not Coke, but I think it's Snickers.
Yeah, like a Snickers or a Coke or something.
Yeah, but there was science behind this saying, you should do this after a workout because you might, does it retrieve your
so like
glucogen?
Yeah, or glycogen.
Glycogen.
So like you have like this, you can think of it as like your muscle store have like some fuel storage. This is a very gross simplification of it, but it's the easiest way I can think about it. Like essentially you have like it's like the gas in your car, right? The glucose is sugar, think about it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the muscle glycogen, which is like the stored form of it. So when you do a intense workout or you do, let's say you use up all that, you have to replenish it.
Right.
Your body can break down other things to replace it. Like you can break down. A good example would be like if you don't immediately put anything into your body, like let's say you didn't eat anything that had glucose in it. Well, your body was like, well, we need that shit, so we're gonna break it down from somewhere else. Like we're gonna take from muscle, which is not efficient, which breaks down muscle fiber, which is not good. You don't want that. But that's like in case of someone who is starving, they don't have any fuel, like their body will then just start eating itself. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, because it's not getting what it needs, so it's going to eat everything inside.
Essentially, it's going to be like, we're going to survive, so we're going to take.
Yeah,
you're not using that.
Your body's going to figure out how to stay alive,
right?
And that's what it does.
Essentially, so this is
it breaks down your muscles.
It'll break down your muscle. Let's say you
Right.
don't have anything like that, so you're in a starving situation, right? So that's. I mean, I'm not going to get that right. Never mind. So your body's going to need to do what it needs to do to survive. So it can break down fat and break down protein, but those are not as efficient. So it'd be like the carbohydrate and glucose is what is going to be the most efficient. That's what your body uses for gas. That's the gas in your car. So imagine like you have this empty gas tank, and then you're like, all right, well, I need to get ready for my next race. What are you going to do? You have to fill up the gas tank. Well, the glycogen is stored. That's where if you want to think of it as like.
That's a good. It's a good analogy. Yeah.
So you just need to replace the fuel in the tank, and that's like the simplest way I think about it is that by getting that sugar from the Coke, from the Snickers bar, which is like the fructose, which is like the immediate fast. It's like a simple sugar. You heard of simple sugars?
Yep.
So that's like
I have, but you might want to explain it too, because not everybody has.
So like high fructose corn syrup is probably what people most probably are aware of.
Corn syrup and everything.
It's in a lot of foods, and oh my gosh, it's so much. It is very easy to consume, and the body immediately takes it up. So it'd be like the first thing that would be used would be something that's really easy to store, break down, and.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but isn't diversity an old? No, no. Well, didn't they start putting corn syrup and stuff instead of sugar? There's still sugar, or is that kind of how they were trying to get around it?
So
I could be way off base here for some reason, or I may not be saying that correctly.
So there's different types of sugar. I mean, like you have there's like galactose, which is like you think of like in galactose.
I said lactose.
They have other types of sugars like fructose. Glucose is a simple if you think photosynthesis in plants, glucose they make that. Glucose, the body uses glucose. It gets broken down into glucose. That's a type of sugar. Fructose is a sucrose. Those are all different types of sugars.
Okay, right? I'm with you.
So like the high fructose corn syrup is like a very refined version of that fructose. Like fructose would also be like your fruit from like an apple, be like something that's very that is not as complex as something like lactose, which some people have trouble breaking down.
They're lactose intolerant.
Yeah, so like that is a more complex carbohydrate or complex sugar, where some people struggle breaking that down. When you hear like complex carbohydrate, that just means that it's like a different type of the sugar that is not as easy to break down, or maybe not easy to break down. It just may take longer to break down, or the body may break down differently. Like for someone who's lactose intolerant. This is not 100%. Like I'm probably making a couple mistakes here in wording, and someone could quote or fact check me. That's fine, but. Essentially, like the armchair version would be like your fructose is like one of the most easy, digestible, fastest. You can burn it up. It's very tasty too. It tastes very good. That's why it's in a lot of foods, and it makes things taste a lot better. So, like very hyper palatable foods like Coke or like Snickers bars have those sugars because they taste really good too. So. I don't know. I kind of rambled all through most of that shit, but with what you're saying about like the high fructose, it's in so many foods because it is easy to produce in mass, and they can add it into other things to make things taste good. Okay, is like the quick, dirty version of it. But so in Matt's case, back to that, he just worked out the insane workouts that they had to do at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Will his body probably process eating an apple or a ton of bananas and like, yeah, but he's going to have to eat a ton of bananas or sweet potatoes or that's not very easy to do. Like, have you seen any of them just eating down on a sweet potato? No, you haven't seen that. Like, that's like the Gatorade powder like you talked about. Mm-hmm. That is all just like quick, easy, dirty, get it into your body. Your body starts using it and saves it. Yeah. Because I'm going to use it in the next hour doing my marathon run or whatever it is. Marathon row. So I'm going to need that. So it's not, it's like it would be, we joked about this too, and we talked about it. It'd be like, a regular person would be like, all right, well, I can just eat a Snickers bar and drink a Coke after every workout. No, that's not the case. He's not doing that every single time. No. That's like after a competition or something like that, where he's,
when he's really overexerting.
Exerted, and he's used up all of his energy and stuff like that. That is like the fastest way to get it. Now, maybe in the long run, if you're drinking a ton of Cokes all the time, yeah, you're getting a ton of sugar, but he doesn't do that all the time.
Yeah, your body doesn't run off.
He doesn't drink a Coke after every workout.
Yeah.
You could follow Feeding the Frasers, and you can see how it kind of eats. But also, he's a professional athlete. He probably can get away with eating a Snickers bar every once in a while because he's working out 10 hours a day, too. So.
Yeah. Well, at my L1, I mean, and I think that's where, we're just sitting here drinking scotch, and, and I had pizza tonight.
Good scotch.
Yeah, good scotch. But like at my L1, Matt Chan, also a former competitor.
Oh, he was your Flowmaster?
I wish he was.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Alex. Oh, God, I can't remember. Dude, this has been so many years ago. It started Alexander?
Jason Alexander. No.
No,
he's
not him. Alex? I think
he's like short brown hair.
Yeah, like Italian.
Yeah, okay, yeah. He was mine as well.
I think there was a Lindsay Pulaski there.
I don't know.
I think she was pretty. I don't know if she went to the games, but anyway, I don't.
Anyways,
that's either here nor there.
Hey, you're at one.
Yeah, but they were saying that they've seen Matt Chan, who was he hasn't competed anymore, but he's a firefighter.
Still, I would say he's a high level athlete. He's
got his own gym. And
he's on the Rock show, right? What's the one?
His new show?
The one that's a Rock host.
Oh, the Titan Games.
Yeah, he's one of them guys.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did do that.
Anyways, but yeah, I would say he's still a games level competitor.
Yeah, he could probably do it. But yeah, where I was going with that, they were saying they've watched him eat a whole carrot cake. But it's because he can afford to do that, but he's not doing it all the time.
Right.
And I always kind of just feel like we put ourselves on a high horse, but we're not. But cause we're there drinking scotch, and sometimes, I like to eat gummy bears and pizza and popcorn too, but we don't do it every night. We may have said this before, but I don't want people to get the misrepresentation of us that.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like, we act like. We don't act like it, but we do it, but not all the time. So,
well, yeah, but
we're not condoning it.
Exactly.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Well, condone it, but don't condone it.
Yeah,
I'm butchering that.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. We're not on a high horse. We're not saying like, down there, those little people, you should only eat this, moderation. Like, I saved this for, I think this is the second time I've drank it. The first time I drank it was the day after Pat gave it to me, and I was like, I'm going to try it. I'm like, we were drinking some of his, and then I was like, I'm going to wait until next time, so that when we're together, We could try this because I was like, I've had it once. I know it's something that you haven't had. We like it.
For sure.
This is like the second time I drink it. But
Pour me another glass here.
Yeah, please help yourself as much as you like. So, yeah, of course. I mean, we're not doing this all the time. Obviously, that would change in, how the things we care about. We've talked about this on other podcasts and like changing how we work out, our lifestyle and stuff like that. But, the same thing is true. Like, we're human. I will go and I even contemplated as I was driving here, I was like, I might even get a cookout milkshake tonight or something like that. But I was just like, it still might happen. But, my mom sent the same thing. My mom sent out like a pound and a half or almost a 2 pound chocolate bunny for Easter basket for me and Sarah that has been sitting on my tail. It's massive, dude. You could stop a truck with that thing if you like chucked you behind the wheel.
Oh, damn.
Like that thing wouldn't roll over that bunny. Like that thing's thick. So thick with like 3 C's. So
thick upon us, baby.
Thick upon us, man. So like that thing's been eyeing me and just like, I can see its little eye. It's like in the horror movies when the penny's eyes move across. I'm like, dude, it's gonna happen at some point, man. It's gonna go down. But yeah.
No, I had another thought on the Matt Fraser podcast and I lost it there, but it was talking about food and other stuff that he was doing.
I think you should not deprive yourself of the things that you like having a drink of good scotch.
Yeah, if you like
milkshake.
But
yeah, if you do it every day, obviously you're gonna have problems with that.
Just don't do it.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, and it's funny that a lot of people are now going to be like, oh, well, it's fine. I can drink a Coke after I work out. Or are you working out for 10 minutes once a day, or are you working out for 10 hours a day and making that your entire career and you're a professional athlete? Yeah, so, like the NFL players, you hear stories of them being like, yeah, this guy just ate McDonald's. Yeah, he ate McDonald's and chicken McNuggets, but he was also a professional athlete, like all kinds of crazy, physical gifts, and maybe his body can just handle that stuff. Whereas in someone like me, if I ate chicken nuggets every day,
well, did Matt
I would
say
be
on,
a chicken nugget.
Did Matt say on a podcast if he was, how long did he actually train for every day?
I don't know if he said that.
I don't remember hearing that. I do remember him saying though that he was doing stuff that other CrossFitters wasn't doing, and I think that's where he kind of plugged his.
Yeah,
is he going through hybrid athlete? Hybrid?
No, he's
no.
What's the
no
it's not hybrid athletics? Hybrid athletics is Rob.
Why am I saying hybrid? What is he going through? Hyper? No. It's got to be your bull.
Shoot. Steffi Cohen's gym.
Yeah, I know. I can see it her, but I can't think. Why am I thinking hybrid athletics? High performance.
Hyperfit USA is what you're thinking of, maybe. No, that's different, but that's CrossFit. But
have you seen her Instagram stuff lately?
Steffi Cohen is insane. If you want to think of like an insane human being, she is probably one of the strongest people to walk the face of the earth.
Hybrid performance method.
Hybrid performance method. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Steffi Cohen is probably one of the strongest people to walk the face of the earth. She's is probably the strongest person pound for pound as far as like body weight goes.
But have you seen her her Insta where she's basically just posing in bikinis all day and
making money and doing sponsored ads and stuff like that?
I think she's trying to do a what's the word am I looking for? Like give girl power, feminine.
Oh, okay.
And I'm all for that, and that's fine. And cause I think it's fucking sexy, but yeah, it seems like that's more of what she's posting now is herself.
I think she has stepped away from the powerlifting. Like she has built this massive like gym, and like she works with like a lot, like some of the I would say better coaching and better like she works with a lot of high level athletes. She trains a lot of people. She's smart. She's PT, so she's pretty sharp, and she's also done powerlifting competitively for a long time. And that is very heavy weights, constantly training like that. So I think she's super hard on her body. And I think it's to the point where she's making money. It's not like she has like the fuck you money, but it's like she's made enough money where she's comfortable now that she can say, I don't know if I really want to, not that I don't lift, but I don't know if I want to push as hard as like Matt Fraser saying, hey, I did this for 5 years and I trained and I didn't have a life.
Yeah, he basically said that was my life.
But so that's what she was. She was like essentially not the same. Maybe this is a terrible comparison.
Well, no, I mean, it's got to be somewhere on the same
but
line.
like she literally dedicated everything. Like
nutrition, you're going to bed early while your friends are going out partying. If they are,
so I can imagine as someone who's really young that they're like, well, maybe I want to try some other things. I know she does like boxing and stuff now.
Right.
And she's getting into that, and I'm like, well, How old is Matt?
What do you say?
Like in his
31?
Yeah, he's retired from the sport that he's made his bread and butter off of. He's his bankroll is from that sport.
Well, he said some of it was most of it he got from his sponsors too, right? Didn't he?
But because he was a professional athlete in the CrossFit game, so he's like in his 30s and he's retired.
Yeah, forever, as long as he don't go.
I mean, he's gonna do other stuff for sure, but
he said he's
competitively
gonna do coffee.
Though, right? Yeah, wants to do something off. But yeah, like you said, he's not going to be grinding like he was.
No,
he's
done with it. Yeah, he said he wants to get married,
do
now,
other
right?
stuff,
and do his coffee thing,
and like kind of live. Well, I think that's what she's doing too. It's like she's doing things like she wants to do because now she doesn't have to be in the gym all day to worry about the next meet or worry about the next sponsorship that's coming down the road. So it's just one of those, I think, for professional athletes coming from not a professional athlete, but they probably get to the point where they're like, well, I think I'm done. Like, I want to go out on my own terms, and I don't want to go out because of an injury. I don't want to go out because of now past my prime. And I was listening to Joe Rogan talk about how, like, with is it Khabib, like they're trying to get
UFC?
him to come back. He's like 29-0, and he's made ridiculous amounts of money. He's still a down to earth guy. Drives the same pickup truck. He's been
like an old Toyota or something.
Yeah, and then he's like, he left at the top as one of the best athletes.
Yeah, arguably the best UFC fighter there will be.
He's left under, like, he's not leaving because he can't fight anymore because he's too broken down. It's not like he's I mean, I guess you could. Fighting is such a dangerous sport, but it's not like he was hit so hard that he's like, this guy can never fight again.
Yeah,
he's leaving on his own terms, which is, I mean,
I respect that.
He's only like 31 or something like that. So the same situation. I think it's just like he's done. He's good. He's made his money. He's done he grinded hard to get where he's at.
Yeah, I mean, he has nothing else to prove.
Yeah,
he won it like 5 years in a row.
Yeah. So
what else? I'm going to go team now and try that.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But,
there is nothing, but. I mean, but what is he still proving that?
Yeah, I mean, like, as far as like one of the best CrossFit competitors, talking about Matt, right? Unless someone does it 6 times.
Yeah, but I mean,
he's gonna, it could be someone out there that's doing that. But for now, he's gonna be one of the best. It's like,
see, that's I'm thinking about is I would like if I were in Matt's shoes, I would like to go out on my own terms and say, hey, I'm done. This is it. Like, what else do I need to? Why do I need to keep doing this as opposed to I need to keep taking paydays and almost ending up like Muhammad Ali and becoming a guy that I can't remember anything that I've ever did in my whole life. Yeah, it's super sad.
Just like super like quality of life difference between being able to walk away from the sport with like relatively small or low injuries compared to being like,
I mean,
you were retired.
You can still work out. You don't have to work out as hard. You can still live your life like, you can make your life what you want it to because. One reason you're financially stable, hopefully, if you did everything correctly. And then 2, you're in pretty good shape. And 3, if you've put the right people around you, it's, in my definition, pretty healthy. A pretty healthy lifestyle. And, you're able to do whatever you want. And that's cool. I've done amazing. This. Now let me move to my next chapter.
Which is like, I meet it, and I totally agree. I think that's like the best way. Like, I think he's making an amazing. Like, as soon as he said retire, I'd be like, that is the smartest decision I think you'd make. A lot of other CrossFit Games athletes have retired because they blew out their Achilles, so they blew out their ACL. Like Sarah Sigmundsdottir just tore her ACL.
Yeah.
What's her name? She's from Florida. Her husband's got like all kinds of crazy neck tattoos. Emily Bridgers. I can't remember. Maybe that's her.
Emily
Bridgers.
There is an Emily.
She was a CrossFit Games competitor for a long time.
There is an Emily Bridgers.
Yeah, and she ended her CrossFit Games career by
because
tearing her Achilles on one of the events. Not that she was like she shouldn't have been competing, but it was like one of those like, that is a huge injury. I mean, it's amazing.
It's hard to come back.
But that was like at the time that she was already close to like, hey, this is probably gonna be one of my last years, and it's not like she's like, all right, this is my last year no matter what. It was like, I'm thinking about this might be one of my last ones, rupture ACL or, Achilles. And I could be totally butchering this and I could have the wrong person, but I think this is right. But let's say it doesn't matter the name, but you go out because of an injury, that is a totally different situation of being like, I'm retired now because I've won, I've accomplished what I want to accomplish, no injuries, good.
Yeah.
Whereas, you could have regrets about, man, I wish I would have done better or X, Y, Z, but anyways.
No, I mean, it just feels so sad. Like, as I said earlier, that these people who didn't manage their money right or put the wrong people in their corner that took their money and and they still have to.
Do you remember watching that show at ESPN, the 30 for 30 broke?
Yeah, I watched it on Netflix, dude. And
it's so sad.
It's super sad.
Makes you frustrated. Like,
it's
you don't even know that person, and it's like when you watch a TV show and you like get embarrassed for somebody, or you feel emotion based on like, oh my gosh, something sad in the movie happened. I'm now sad. Watching that, I was like visible, not visibly, but I was sitting there like, oh my god, like it's easy for us to be like, yeah, why didn't you see that coming? Dude?
Yeah, we're on the outside looking in, but that reminds me.
But yeah,
the movie with
super sad.
Denzel Washington and Ray Allen. He Got Game. Did you ever watch that?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. It's been a long
Jesus Shuttlesworth. But anyway, they kind of do a thing at that where he's trying to get out of Brooklyn or wherever he's at and go pro. But there's people all of a sudden coming into his life out of nowhere. Hey man, can you help me out? I need some cash, and that's kind of what the broke documentary people 30 for 30 on ESPN or it was on Netflix. Yeah, 30 for 30. Guess you can find it on the ESPN Plus app now. Yeah. But anyway,
no free ads.
But anyway, it's essentially all of these athletes who just went broke, and and they were big time athletes too.
A lot of big names in there.
Yeah. I can't remember. Scottie Pippen went broke. Didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know if he was in that, but I know he did go broke at one point. But anyway, they were talking about how once they start getting money, it's like, oh, I bought mom a house, I bought mom a car, then I bought my friends a car. Then every time we all went out to the club, I was footing the bill.
Yeah, like you have an entourage now.
Yeah, and you got you're taking 10 plus people there.
Was it Allen Iverson had like a 70-person entourage? It was insane, or something like that. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. It's probably wrong. Like
70 that this would follow.
It was something like you could fill up a tour bus with it. With all the people that were all hanging on and stuff like that, and he was paying for them. That's probably why he went into debt. I mean, I know he probably bought a lot of stuff, but
still, when you take 70 people out for dinner and drinks,
you hear the stories about like the NFL rookies who be like, hey, they got a spot dinner, and the dinner is like $500,000 because it was a 30-person, at like a steakhouse, and it was like a massive NFL player that ordered 2 steaks. Or something like, have you ever heard of those like stories and stuff like that? You mean,
I've heard of like the quarterback taking out his offensive line because he's like, hey, thanks for protecting me. Hey, is that what you're saying?
Or pay for the bill? Yeah, they have to pay for the defense food bill, and it's like a couple $1,000s. And they're like,
yeah, when you bring in
10
plus 300-pound people to eat.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh my gosh, you think about it, and like, you're like, well, and I guess everyone thinks like, oh, well, that guy's making $1 million a year. Like, well, he doesn't make $1 million immediately. It's not like he gets $1 million day one.
Yeah, it's still divided. Say he gets so much a month.
So he may get it, and like they get game checks. I don't know how everyone's contract works because I haven't signed any contracts recently.
So he probably gets, let's say, all right, so $100,000 for 10 months is, yeah, that'd be it, right? That'd be $1 million.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can think about it like that, but like, let's say, okay,
I got it. But my mom went blank right there. Sorry, people, don't yell at me for my math.
It's fast math. But yeah, like, let's say, okay, well, it's not like he
10,000. All right, that's what 10,000 times 10 would be 100,000.
10 times 10 is 100. Yeah.
So 100. Okay, so 100,000 times 10 would be a little over $1 million. So, and that within 10 months. So say roughly he's getting $75,000 to $100,000 a month.
Right.
Okay.
So
okay, that's what I was trying to say.
I'm not saying like that's like ashtray money, but yeah, if you do have a lifestyle that's like I bought 3 cars and I bought my mom a house and I bought myself a house. Yeah. Yeah, well, you're on the line for a lot.
They're buying 6-figure cars too. It's not like they're just going out and buying
I'm not saying that's true for everybody.
A Corvette.
But like, let's say that guy just got a fat check and that's the first time he's ever had money. A lot of those dudes are so young. Like, okay, so a great example would be like what is probably the youngest or what's the average age for the NFL rookie? I don't know what. Like
20, 21?
If someone gave you $1 million when you were 21 years old, what do you think you would do?
Oh,
like right now.
Instantly.
If I just handed you a briefcase,
and I was 20 or 21,
it's always metal, right? And then you flip it around.
20 or 21, I'm probably buying mom and pop a house and me a sick ass McLaren, and
so exactly right. And
taking Bay out.
A lot of those guys,
you're done.
Yeah, and like maybe you're not paying for
that's
it immediately
right
now,
at least,
but yeah, I mean, like shit, you get hurt.
Yeah, then you're really done.
So, like, I don't know. I think back to the paying for the check. So, like, yeah, I mean, if you've bought all those things, and I know you're ultimately responsible for your actions, but shoot, man, if you have an entourage, and then hey, you got to pay for this house, and you got to pay for this car, and then they're like, all right, you pay $50,000 to this bill. If it were me, everyone's like, oh yeah, that's more where that came from. Shit, that's how those guys go broke, man. They go out and go to the clubs and drop money, and
you can spend a ridiculous amount of it. If you spend 10 plus people at the club, I mean,
imagine doing
for
that
ridiculous some of that high dollar whiskey
what if
or
you went
alcohol
every single weekend
Yeah,
during football season
That
after a
adds
game,
that adds up. Real
stuff like
quick.
that hurts my stomach. I just like the amount of money that like those people had and then lost. Not that I'm obsessed with money, but it's like, if TV's moving, he's back there.
Mikey, what are you doing? Get God. He's got his ball. He can walk back there, but he's just trying to.
I just saw the TV wobbling.
Yeah, he's trying to get it without. He wants me to get up to get it, but he put it back there. He walked around there.
He's almost got you trained, man.
Well, probably if I was not doing this,
Zeke's got me trained.
I would get up and get it.
He sits for a treat, and I do the same thing pretty much. Anyways,
good snag.
But maybe it hurts my stomach. Just
look at him. See, now he went behind the TV. You son of a bitch.
He's a smart guy.
Damn, it didn't work.
But you feel for those guys. They'd be like, all these people are hanging on, taking advantage of them. Like when they have so much success and like they don't know or they don't have the right person or like this person that they think that they trust takes advantage of them. Like, man, that's just like, if anything, if it was $100 and someone that that let's say was a family member came and then stole money from you, like if it's if it's $50, if it's $10, that sucks. But but if it's $10 million and now you're paying the bill and that person took from you, and you got to pay for their expenses and stuff. So that's a whole bunch of like. It just blows my mind on how like when you watch that documentary, just like the amounts of money that people they say, oh yeah, I went to the club and I spent $50,000 at the club. I'm like, fuck, okay,
I could have done a lot with that.
like shoot.
Well, so here's a hot topic. I don't know if it's a hot topic, but it's kind of going off what we're saying. Do you think college athletes should be paid?
Yes,
you do think
for
so?
sure.
Is you thinking depending on the program or like all of them should be paid like a stipend or what do you?
I've heard a lot of arguments, and I think some of the best arguments I've heard is that the priority of them at a school. Let me use an example would be Roll Tide. Okay, their job is to what? Win football games
For sure.
So what do? They have training. They got to be I don't know their schedule. So I'm butcher this, but a little bit. But okay, let's say they got to be at the weight room at this time. All right, then they got practice, then they got film, then they got this other practice. So they got this team meeting. That's like 4 or 5 things. Now,
plus their actual classes are supposed to go to,
right? So
if they're going to those.
And I've heard like people say that like the college picks my major for me, and they tell me to just take this one because they know that this is a successful major that is less involved. Not trying to shit on anyone's major, but like they'll say, all right, you're going to pick this degree because this is going to allow you to be a football player. Right? Well, what if that guy wanted to be a lawyer? You think the guy's going to be able to do like law school and be able to play? Like
that's extremely tough.
Essentially, it's be like
I think it can be done, but
yeah, I'm not saying like I'm just using an example.
But yeah, I think you got to.
Let's say your average person that has never like maybe college is never an option. Without being able to go to play football.
Okay.
Which is true for a lot of folks that can't afford college education. You essentially have to work a job to pay for your college. Your job is playing football games. So that's the way I've seen it. I've just heard a lot of people talk about it like that. So like if you have to have all these responsibilities just to satisfy being a football player to stay on the team, because if you're not on the team, you're getting cut and you're not paying for college anymore. All those guys, they spend all that time and like either to get cough assistants to do school or scrape by in school just to get a shot at going to the NFL. It's probably the most likely everyone wants to go from college to the NFL, right? Let's just say on average. All those dudes are grinding and working, and yes, they get a college education, but I mean, the school is making money off them.
Yeah.
Like,
look, yeah. I mean, you bring in what? All right, so I don't know how big kind of going off what you said, how big Alabama Stadium is, but I know.
Same.
Oh yeah, I've never been to an Alabama game, but I have been to an SEC game with Tennessee.
Tennessee is
and
one of the biggest.
100,000 plus people fill that stadium pre-COVID, obviously. Right. So tickets are what? $30, $40, $50, depending on where you want to sit.
Could be up to a couple $100.
So how much money are they just bringing in just off ticket sales?
So it's like ticket sales, it's jersey sales, it's memorabilia, it's things like like all those. You remember Ohio State got busted a long time for people like selling jerseys. Like these dudes would be like selling jerseys, like they exchange to get tattoos. Like in a grand scheme of things,
that's right. I forgot about that. That's
right. Signed a guy's jersey instead of paying for a tattoo, and then they bust it. I don't know the whole story, so this is probably. But something like that. The NCAA is essentially like the mafia, in my opinion. This is like one of those.
Ooh, that's a good. I like that.
They say, oh well, they're amateur athletes and they're doing it because they want to get a good education. Athletes. Yeah, they're student athletes. They shouldn't be doing it. They should be happy enough to just get an education. Like that is the biggest bunch of horseshit because that dude is cashing money off the dude that is playing and getting his ACL possibly torn every other time he goes on the field, trying to get blocked. And that guy's still going to get paid. Well, okay, a guy's hurt. Maybe he's never able to play football again. Is the team just going to keep paying for the rest of his college? No. Nah, that's not going to happen. I mean, that's like the worst case scenario, but does that make sense?
It does make sense because let's say if you're a 5-star prospect, you're a quarterback, you have 10 out of 10 chances going to the NFL.
Yeah.
Like you're destined to be the number 1, 2 pick, whatever.
Right.
You get hurt, somebody sacks you, your knees blown out, then what? Oh, well, we got to put in the second guy in. What are you going to do then? Like, all right, so your career's done. Okay, there's maybe a small chance you could come back if you work hard or whatever, but for the most part,
that's probably it.
I'm not going to shit on Alabama, but let's say they'll help you out recover probably.
Right.
But after that, all right, well, thanks.
But if they can't use you, they're going to toss you off. Yeah,
thanks, man. But we got to win.
Any school. I mean, it's very. It's
that's not a big school, but that's one of the issues with college athletes or athletics. But
so to what you're saying, like for sure, because the risk of them and like the percentage of the people that are going from college to the NFL is small. People going into college programs is probably small. Obviously there's lots of college teams and college players and stuff, but that's still like of all the people in high school that I'm gonna go try to play college ball, try to play in a big.
Yeah, if you want to go play at a big college school, it's extremely
insane,
tough.
right? The odds are stacked against you. So this institution,
not saying it can't be done, folks.
Yeah, this institution, this school, is making money over hand over fist. Whereas you hear stories about like guys that are they have scholarship, but if they don't have if they don't come from money, like you've been to college, like okay, well if let's say you needed a couple bucks here and there to go out and get food, or let's say you had a meal plan and you're only allowed to get so many meals or something like that. Or just you hear about guys like, well, I was trying to go get food and I had to ask for money.
Yeah.
And the NCAA came down and said that was a bribe, or that was like, hey, you got paid or something like that. And I don't know. This is a gross oversimplification, but
well, no, because it's all stories that you hear that people who actually get busted from
is over ticky-tack shit.
Yeah, and who was it from USC?
NCAA still gets paid.
USC Hill Tyson, big running back from USC.
Okay,
Tyson. They bought his family a house so he could play there.
Oh, that shit!
But he didn't get found out till New Orleans. He was a piece.
Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush.
Tyson.
What am I? Yeah, but it was like after the fact.
And
sorry,
they made him get back the Heisman.
Yeah,
or they invalidated or whatever.
Yeah,
bunch of horseshit because all those people, the NCAA made those money. They cashed their checks. The school cashed their checks. But who gets blamed for it? They blame that guy.
Yeah, they blame Reggie Bush. They blame USC.
Okay, and they've invalidated some of their wins. Like, that's so stupid. Invalidating something that's happened in the past. Like, they go,
that never happened.
Someone go take a knife and they scrape it off the board in front of the school. Maybe they had to, but
I mean, they shouldn't invalidate it because
he's not the only person on that team.
Correct. I mean, the home run. All right, going on the home run thing. It's almost proven that Barry Bonds was using PEDs, but he still got the record. Or
Right.
does he still have the record?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but everyone knows. Okay, there's an asterisk behind there, but they just didn't say, okay, your hat size grew. We found out you were taking that Bioxley lab.
Oh, shoot, I can't.
There was some lab that actually
yeah,
they found
I know
out.
you're
Okay,
right.
he was getting it
Starts
from,
with B, though.
but he's still there, and everyone knows. Okay, he's still there. So why can the NCAA just go? No, we're going to invalidate all that. We're going to take your wins away. But we still won the fucking game. I mean, okay, yeah, we made a mistake. Yeah. Wait, the Astros, they got caught cheating in the World Series?
Yeah, the Houston Asterix.
Did they take that away?
I can't remember how that ended up doing. It was a slap on the wrist. Like,
Yeah,
the biggest cheating scandal in sports, probably. And they fined them the maximum, which is the league. But
they didn't say, all right, nobody won the
can't
World
remember.
Series this year, did they?
I can't remember. I don't know if they just took it off the record books. But
Folks, if you want to write in on that, let us know.
But
Hey, Siri.
But yeah, I mean, like for those people that cheat, like the Astros, egregious. There's a set plan. Multiple people got caught.
Yeah,
even admitted to it.
This doesn't take one
They
person.
even have it on video evidence that there was a screen behind the dugout.
They were holding up signs or something.
Okay, so you mounted your TV on the wall a while ago, right?
Yeah.
There's a specific mark on the wall, and there's a bracket, and you had probably a wall mount, right?
Yeah. Oh, you can see it on this wall, right?
Okay, so imagine if you just ripped the TV off and the bracket was still on there. There's a video of them running through in the beginning of the game. They're running out of the tunnel, the locker room, into the dugout, and there's a TV on the wall. In the same game, they're running back the opposite direction, and there's a TV mount on the wall with fucking wires all over the ground, and there ain't no TV there. And there's a trash can. There's John Boy Media. Go to that guy's YouTube. He has a great breakdown. He was the guy that actually broke the story.
John Boy Media.
John Boy is a YouTube channel. He's like, dude does like mostly baseball videos.
Okay.
It'll be like a funny or a comedic breakdown of something. But he was like one of the guys that broke it. Like he was like, oh, this is people know about this, but now everyone's gonna know about this kind of deal. Anyways, that's not part of it. But like there was a trash can. You heard about how they were stealing signs and they were pretty much banging on trash cans.
Yeah.
There was a trash can next to that video screen that looked like somebody hated that thing. Like they
just beat the fuck out of it.
There was a area on that trash can that looks like there's a different color paint on it because it's been hit so many times.
Oh, tits.
You know, the rumor was that they had like fake Band-Aids and they'd have like a little buzzer. Like they have like I got a cut on my chest. And
they were rubbing their...
So what they would do is they put like a transponder or something that would vibrate.
Yeah.
Under the Band-Aid and put it on. So when they're like, all right, fastball, buzz.
So that automatically knew what was going on.
Yeah. So, and like they had people in the out and they have film. They did all kinds of crazy. And it was just like, if you're going to have pretty much one of the most prolific cheating scandals, they have it on film. They have so many pieces of evidence of like, yeah, there's people in the stands, or there's people outside on the other side of the fence, like signaling to the people, like the batter, hey, like we know what pitch is coming. Like they signal on the outfield, and there's video of like you look at the guy on home plate, the pitch is getting ready to get thrown, the pitcher's going back into his motion. Then the guy turns to left field and looks out in left field, and then he looks back at the pitcher. It's like, when with the bat,
that looks different.
That guy's going to throw it in about 100 miles an hour. I'm just going to look away for a second and then put my head back. So it's like, anyways.
No, we kind of went off topic there.
Yeah,
but no, I do agree that. But yeah.
I think for sure they should be paid. I think it's like.
I agree with you. I'm not saying they should get millions, but.
No, but they should get paid.
They should get something.
They should get compensated. They should at least not have to do all that effort, risk getting injured without any fallback of dropping out of college and probably somehow, ending up in potentially a worse situation. Like you go to college and unless the school is going to honor you, no, they're not. They're going to replace you.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that, a lot of people will come back and say that, oh, well, they're getting I don't know. Let's say tech is what for each year of some tuition, 15,000.
Okay.
So 15 times 4 is 60. So, they're getting a $60,000 free education, but not every player is getting that though.
Right.
That's only scholarship players.
Partial scholarship, get a full ride. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they'll say that plus they get free gear, plus they get to travel, plus obviously they get out of certain classes, and I do get that argument, but still, I did read, or I don't know if I read this or just heard it through word of mouth, that Tech, how we were saying with ticket sales and jersey sales and all that Tech brings in roughly $1 million just for a home game, for the football program.
Right.
Which obviously in most universities or most big time football schools, the football program carries all the other sports.
Yeah, unless it's like a basketball school like Duke.
Yeah, one of the Blue
right?
Bloods.
Yeah.
And which is pretty much vice versa, which actually Duke and UNC football have kind of come up a little bit.
Yeah, but like
Tech's
you wouldn't
falling
think of Duke and UNC as a
no, they're first obviously
but
it's basketball.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying. Sorry, I didn't cut you off.
But no, you're good. But that's kind of what the counter argument I think would be. But still, I think they should get an extra. I'm not saying millions.
Yeah.
But they get,
like you should get.
Maybe paid for that. I guess that's where it breaks down to, like, how much would one get paid?
Yeah.
And then when it comes down to, okay, you're a skilled player versus an offensive lineman.
Or even if they made it a flat rate of like,
yeah, everybody gets paid the
on
same
the football
thing.
team gets to pay this. I guess you could say, if you're on the practice squad.
So yeah,
should you get paid the same amount? I don't know. That's not something
So you haven't dressed out.
I mean, maybe I haven't thought about it that far. I think you should get something. I think like being not a full adult. Even though legally you're 18, you're probably an adult.
Yeah.
Or legally you'll be an adult. Like you're not like I was an asshole at 18. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know what the hell. My ass from a hole in the ground. I still don't. But at 18, going into college and being already you're essentially having the responsibilities of being a professional athlete, but doing it for free. Yes, you're getting in college, but you're not paid to go to school. You're paid to play football, right? I mean,
well,
it's not like you're forced there. I'm
correct. I'm
like,
trying to put my thoughts together
slavery,
to not sound like a big idiot.
Like they got like someone showed up in a black SUV and ripped them out of their house, and they wake up the next day with football pads on. It's not like that.
I mean, so obviously you're recruited to go there, and either by Justin Fuente came to your house, Nick Saban came to your house to say, hey, I want you to play for me, or he sent one of his assistant coaches. So I guess usually it depends on how bad they really want you, right? Usually the big time prospects, Nick Saban's going to show up at your door.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If they're really interested. And so, yeah, but still, in that fact, I mean, say, who's another big time head coach? I can't even think of one right now.
Sweeney.
Yeah, there you go. Good, from Clemson. He shows up at your door, then Nick Saban shows up at your door. Now you got a decision to make, but, was it Louisville basketball no, it was Tennessee just recently putting money into McDonald's bags Louisville basketball was taken to the strip clubs and stuff.
Like that,
But anyway, when it boils down to, so what does it come down to? Oh, so I know I'm the shit, and that 2 out of the top 5 schools in the country want me.
Right.
What are you going to do to get me there?
Yeah.
So nobody's forcing me to come there. I can go anywhere I want to,
right.
If I'm 18, I'm gonna be an arrogant son of a bitch, and know that. I think that's what I was trying to go.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like
could be a little Scotch talking right now.
Yeah, you're not getting handcuffed and taken to the games.
Yeah, nobody's telling me I have to go.
It's not like it's the longest yard and you're get let out of the
prison yard.
Yeah, you have to play the guards. But the only reason I say Dabo Sweeney is that Nick Saban doesn't matter. Dabo Sweeney was recently. I think they asked him at one point, and this is probably wrong too. But like in NCAA, the coaches can make money on the side by doing advertisements.
They do commercials.
Commercials, yeah. But if it was a player, no, that is not allowed. They can't use their likeness. Like they can't, that's why the NCAA football, the video game, hasn't been able to make because,
correct.
They ruled against that. So the NCAA has still got around not paying them, but they obviously are not making that game anymore because they can't use their likeness anymore. But
there is something now where you can do something. Certain players can make money off their likeness,
and I don't know the full details of the case.
I don't either.
So I can't put my finger on it.
I just know they can make a certain amount.
But Dabo Sweeney was they asked him, hey, do you think players should make money? And he said no. But he's making money.
Why would he say? How can you say no when you're making?
Exactly. That's what to me is so.
I mean, is that his counter argument? Oh, they're getting a free education. They get free gear. My brother and I, we read something in this last year's bowl games that if you go to a bowl game, you automatically get
Oh, like a bonus.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, a bonus, and then players also get like a little bowl package, I
Or
guess.
swag or stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and that's usually what it is. Oh, you get a backpack.
It's not a sack full of cash, but
Yeah, correct. But obviously, the bigger the bowl you go to, the more gear you get. I think there was does Sony have a bowl?
Mm-hmm.
We did read there was actually everybody got a PlayStation 5, which is at that time I'm sure everybody was hell yeah. Nobody else can get one, which half of them probably could have sold it. Who knows?
A lot of people do sell that stuff though. Like I
Yeah.
know people,
But man,
dudes have sold the rings. And
dude,
stuff
that's
like
what I was getting ready to say. Kind of going back on us talking about being broke and bankrupt and stuff. If you had a Super Bowl ring or any type of ring, a golf championship, we keep putting basketball and NFL. There's a championship. Even I don't know, high school state championship. I never had one of those. Never will, obviously. But all right, my question is: could you ever think if you were down on your luck,
would I sell it?
Yeah, World Series ring. You got a World Series ring. You won it. You were the relief pitcher to sat on the bench. You got called up.
If I was definitely on the bench, I'd have no problem selling it. Personally,
you would sell it?
Yeah, I would.
You think so?
Like if it was like one of those, like I was in dire straits and it would be like, hey, like a good example would be like, let me just use myself as an example. All right, let's say I was a professional athlete and I had, Sarah and I were married and let's say I had a kid. Like I have no problem selling that thing because if that means I have to provide for my wife or my kid.
When it comes down to those type of circumstances,
that's the way. If it was me, that's how I think about it. Like if this means that I can make my next XYZ, if I can save my house, if I can do that, oh yeah, man, I'm selling that thing.
Yeah,
I was there. I know I did it. Like for me, and this is just, I'm not trying to take like that holier than thou, but I just the way my brain works. Like, okay,
got a hairball there.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Wiener.
I don't know. Maybe I kind of grew up with that. Like my mom and dad would be like, maybe, you're gonna. Maybe not the way to say this. Isn't probably not doing justice to dad, but like be like, you could pull out of the I could pull out of the driveway tomorrow morning, driving to the gas station, and I could be T-boned and I could die tomorrow.
Sure. And
that ring, if I had on my finger, I'm not taking it with me. It's going to stay here wherever I go after. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be wearing that ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to take it with you when you go. It's really cliche to say, but I kind of try to not like live my life on that one principle. But to me, if you're asking me right now, would I sell that ring if I was down on my luck and I needed to pay for it? I would be selling that thing for sure.
Yeah. So that's what I think on a very, very, very last resort.
Right.
But, and I could be putting that on a pedestal too. But when it would come down to circumstances like you're saying, I could definitely say, "Oh, do I want my house, or do I want a place to sleep tonight instead of a box, or do I want my kids to eat if I had kids, to eat?" Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But I guess where I've read some people sell it for drug money.
Okay, well,
then
it's a different situation.
I guess kind of that's what I was going with. But I think it would have to be one of those dire situations.
Yeah.
But especially when you have to work so hard just to get, because maybe
I'm sure it'd be heartbreaking. Yeah, I'm sure it'd be like
there is some players who've actually just got lucky and got traded to the right team and never got an ounce of playing.
They don't have that emotional connection.
Yeah, to it. And they just sat on the bench the whole time. And I played for 2 minutes, but the rest of the time I was just practicing. So, and I still got a ring. Which
you hear about the guys that like do that, like people that have had a ring, but they weren't like, it's not as if Tom Brady. No, I don't. This is crashing and burning. So like the people that are on the team still get a ring, right? Even if let's say we're young,
they're like the water boys.
Well,
is that what you're saying?
Or like, let's say, like you're so far down in the depth chart, you didn't play a down on the field. You played your practice squad. Those dudes get Super Bowl rings, right?
They still get it, yeah. Because okay, you're right. Because even if you're accounting for, you want some scotch? If you're accounting for the Nationals,
right?
I think they get a staff ring. It's not exactly what the players get, but they do get a championship. I had a buddy when RU. Or I have a buddy. I think he's still. We're still friends.
I was like, oh,
shout out Josh. He was a manager for RU when they won the conference championship in 2009.
So he got a ring. Right?
He got a ring. I don't know if it was. I can't remember if it's the exact same one the players got, but he showed it to me, and I remember it was just like had a big RU and some diamonds around it. For a small college winning a conference ring.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, I was jelly. Little jellyfish. Ouch.
But and this, maybe I would feel differently if I was in that position. But if it was me and I was like, let's say I'm a part of the Buccaneers and I am a practice squad guy, and they're like, yeah, you got a ring because you're part of the team. To me, I would never wear that. This is me.
Well, because you don't want nobody asking you about it.
Like,
or, hey, what position do you?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't play.
I poured water.
Yeah, or I mean, like, I don't know. That's just my opinion.
No, and I get that too because
people could say I'm full of shit. Like, oh, you for sure you'd be wearing that ring. I don't think. I would.
Would you do buy that somewhere? Is that even real?
I don't know. To me, it would be like I did feel like I wouldn't have earned it, but that's just me talking.
I mean, you do though in a different way, right?
Yeah, I can see that. I know what you're saying. Like, you're part of the team. You're maybe a reason I got there. Like,
I mean, you didn't score the winning touchdown or something, but
I don't think I'd be walking around like.
Yeah, you don't want to be
my hand
flashing with it. What's up, bud?
I just, maybe this is me sitting here as non professional or
that's what
or anything like that.
My Josh, my buddy, said that he didn't want to wear it. Yeah, he wants to keep it, but he said he didn't want people asking him.
Right.
But I think maybe special occasions. I don't know. I would want to. It's kind of like where people have these old, nice, sweet ass cars, and like, no, we don't drive it or anything. But man, you gotta drive it, right?
Yeah,
you gotta take it out a little bit.
It's gotta get air.
I mean, you got an old split window 60. I don't even when was a 64 Corvette, and like that's one of the rarest Corvettes ever made. And there's like 6-figure cars, but you I want to just drive it to the gas station and just show it off a little bit.
Be a daily driver, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying drive it to work every day, but just like kind of how when we drove the Parkway today, that it's like, man, when we were talking about cars there for a minute, how badass it'd be just to be going down the road, just hearing that.
Yeah, man.
That might not be a big V8. That might be a rice burner or something. But don't judge my sound effect.
You can imagine what it'd be like, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly like that.
But no, I know exactly what you mean. Like, if I put that much time and money and like effort and sweat into like making something nice, I'm gonna enjoy that thing, you know. But if I crashed it, that would suck.
Oh God, yeah, your soul would just reap out of your body.
That's one of those like I've heard a couple people, like having regrets of like it would be awful to live your entire life and have all these regrets, and that's like cliche. It's in movies and TV shows and all that stuff like that. And we're like, like some people suffer in what's the word or the quote?
Can't even
like just suffer the pain of regret, or suffer like silently in regret or something like. I can't remember. I'm butchering the quote, and I was like in my mind, and it's just gone now. But I guess I don't know. I don't think I've heard this one. Totally blew up in my head. But like to go through life and be like, man, I had this great car, but I never drove it. Like it's like huge regret. Like for me, it would have been like I drove that car till the wheels fell off. And like not that you wouldn't take care of it, but when I say drive till the wheels fell off, I drove that thing all over the place. Mm-hmm. I put all these miles on it. I took care of it, and I was proud of it.
Yeah,
I drove that thing. You enjoyed it, rather than being like I just look at it in the garage like. That's just me. This is my opinion.
Well, some people will just, I think.
If you're good with that, that's fine.
Yeah, and that's cool. It's like, this is mine, but there's still, to a fact, I agree with 100% with you. Right. Like, I want to get in the car and drive it a little bit. I mean, you don't have to go on a road trip, but God.
Yeah, you're not getting, you don't have to go
just tickle your pickle a little bit,
Exactly. So, like, this is a great example. Like, when I got my car, when I drove my Jeep Wrangler let me give you an example. When I got my Jeep Wrangler, I think a couple times, like, I ended up getting, like, a couple scratches on it or something like that. It was, like, something dumb where, like, I had my keys in my hand and, like, rubbed up against the car, and I put a scratch down the side. And then I was like,
it cut you deep.
Fuck. Like, this is awful, man. And then, like, I'd be like, I'm stressing about it. I'm already trying to find paint and all this. I'm trying to touch it up. And I'm doing all this research stuff, and I'm stressed about it. And I was like, and then, like, after that was, like, the first like month of owning it, and then like 3 years later, I'd be like a rock comes up and chips a piece off. I'm like, that sucks. Anyways, moving on. It's like you can't stress about that kind of stuff, or like drive you nuts kind of thing. But after a while, you know, it's not that you don't care, but it's, you know, in the grand scheme of things, is that scratch on something I can't see while I'm driving the damn thing, actually? For sure. Is that going to bother me that much? Probably not. I mean, when I started driving my current car, my Scion, like, there was that point where it was like, when it was like, it was new, it was like, you know, like not a scratch on the thing. I was, you know, washed it all the time because I really, you know, I take pride in like taking care of the things that I own, like, you know, like having a nice car and keeping it in good condition, like you're saying, like, but you know, at some point, like I picked up scratches, rocks at the car, scratches, like got a ding in the door here, someone, you know, I backed into a XYZ, you know, it's like, you know, things are going to happen. But, like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, I enjoy driving the car. It's a nice car. But, you know, am I stressing about that little scratch that I put on it like 3 years ago when I was rubbing up against, you know, with my keys in my hand? No, not really. But that's just the way my brain works, I guess. Like, you know, it's at that one point you're like maybe stressed about it. Like, it's got to be in mint condition. Otherwise, it ain't worth a damn.
Yeah.
And then, like, a year later, I'm like, oh, it's just another scratch. It'll be fine. You can't even see it in the dark. You know, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I'm with you 100%.
So, you know, if it was me I'm doing that, have that Corvette in the car, oh, you better believe, man, I'm driving that thing all over the place.
Well, what sparked that was that, you know, going back to your power athlete, John Welborn guy, which, you know, he's a good dude and he's a smart dude. Power athlete John Welborn, if anybody doesn't know who we're talking about, smart dude with all athletics, nutrition. Didn't he play for the Chiefs?
I played for the Chiefs. I played for the Patriots. Oh, yeah. He played for the Eagles, Chiefs.
He bounced around a little bit, but anyway,
he's mostly with the Chiefs and Eagles.
He runs Power Athlete.
That's his thing.
So anyway, what I was going with that is I was listening to one of his podcasts, and he was talking about actually how should I say this, that if he's ever going to be when he's going to be laying on his deathbed, that when he looks back at his life, he wants to be able to say that, hey, I actually did said thing, or I drove said car, instead of just sit there and make, I remember playing on my phone a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just one of those things like, man, you gotta live a little bit, you know. And
I totally agree. Yeah,
no regrets.
Right.
Regrets.
No regrets. Not
regrets.
Even a letter, right?
Yeah.
You know, I would say, like, not like I'm saying go live your life fucking hard.
Yeah, just like, go out there.
No regrets.
100% extreme.
But like, you should do the things that you care about that are going to make you happy. That are you're going to look back on me like, man, I am glad I took that trip. Man, I am glad I went to. That's, you know.
Yeah, you traveled, or you saw something, one of the wonders of the world, or
I'm glad I went to go, you know, meet that person, or I meet the, you know. I'm glad I got to go to the Super Bowl, or glad I got to go to, you know, you're not going to look back and be like, man, I dicked her. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm glad
I wish I spent more time on my phone.
Yeah, I'm glad I liked that post on Instagram. One time.
And, you know, so I totally agree. That's my mentality of for the, if I had like that nice situation of like, hey, you know, if I had to sell that ring, you know, I maybe on your deathbed, you're like, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not taking this thing with me, but I will always have that memory of me winning Super Bowl, winning a World Series.
Yeah.
It's like, so, you know, it's exactly what you're saying. So I agree.
Yeah.
I concur. Sorry. I kind of rambled again.
Do you concur? Why didn't I concur? But no, it makes me think, like, you know, we went into this pandemic, and that's the reason I started thinking, like, shit. You know, and we kind of found out that obviously when this first pandemic started, in my experience, like, man, this is some serious shit. We, you know, nobody knew what was going on, right. And you know, it's like, we might die. You know, if you get this, and now it seems like if you do get it, it's roughly depending on underlying health factors and stuff. It could just be a bad cold,
right?
And a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, but from my experience of what people have told me who've gotten it, it's just been a flu.
It's been maybe a shitty day or two, but that's
right. And I've seen some people who've had extreme cases, or not seen it, but I've read about it, right. Or some people who've got it in a day and they just thought it was allergies or something. But I guess what I was going at is like, man, it's the reason I got to start doing stuff, you know, right. And like progress my life.
It makes you kind of value
exactly, yeah,
what the time you have here. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, because you know, I start thinking about it, and this could be some scotch talking right now. That I start thinking about my mortality, and
right.
it's like, okay, I'm going to be 35 soon. And so roughly, let's say I have another 35, that would put me at 70.
Okay.
It's like, man, I'm half over.
Well, yeah.
And like, I have a goal that I actually would like to be a centurion and go to 100, but as long as I'm in full capable health and I'm halfway independent. And,
right, yeah. The quality of life, right?
Yeah, I might not be trying to pick up 200 pounds and put it over my head, but let's say if I want to go walk and get a cup of coffee at 90 years old, or drive a whatever car there, I'm fully capable of that without having to
probably be flying cars at that point, right? Is that what they keep saying? No, sorry.
Jetpacks, I think.
I mean to catch up, but we're just saying.
You're good. I'm just saying that it's just like, shit, it just became a little real. Or I had a realization that, maybe I need a, when you're wearing that Utah Rock shirt on, or you went to Bryce Canyon. Did you go to the Grand Canyon too? Or?
I have not been. Sarah
went. Okay, Sarah was telling me about that. I have not gone yet. But even, did you say Zion Mountain? And
Zion Zion National Park and Bryce Canyon.
So it's like, man, I haven't done that yet. And and I think Daniel was telling me the other day that he went to. Yeah, he did go to the Grand Canyon stuff, and he was telling me his experience. And then I think that's how I heard Sarah talk about it. And I was like, man, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those, and I maybe to go off what you're saying is like, I totally agree, and that's my mentality is that like, things are not forever, and when you're young, you're like a young guy, you're like, I have so much damn time, like there is I'm not gonna die. I see people die, and I hear about people dying, but it's not gonna happen to me. I'm 18 years old. Not even thinking about it. Like, do you ever think about that when you were 18? Probably not, right?
No. See, when I was in college and things, I'm 21, 22. It seems like I was just waiting to get to 21 because I didn't have to use my brother's ID to get in bars and stuff anymore. And then, once you get past that, then all of a sudden I'm graduated. Then all of a sudden, looking back on it now, I'm not saying this is everyone's experience, but then it's like, fuck, what happened?
Yeah, you put a lot of value in that.
Yeah, and I didn't. We can talk about the Open if we want to, but when we were talking the other day that they put me into the 35 to 45 or 44. Yeah.
I kind of felt like a dickhead for texting you that way. Sorry.
But I thought I told you that. But anyway, I was like, oh. But anyway, that kind of made other things more real from my experience. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Damn, I'm in this group now, but it also made me feel pretty good too because it's like, well, I still feel pretty good fit. Like I can hang in this group, no big deal. But it's like, damn, I'm in that age group. Yeah, but going what you said, that I would have never thought. I'm not, I'm just thinking. I guess in that day, thinking more of the present, not the future. Like, ooh, what am I doing tomorrow? What am I? I don't know. I don't know if that's making sense.
I think I know what you're saying. Like, you're not, and most people don't. I feel like most people don't look like, hey, I'm stressed about, or I'm worrying about, or I'm. Man, what's 10 years down the road going to be? I mean, there may be, but like a lot of people are more in the present, I think, than I would say on average. I mean, just my experience, like, before.
Pour me another scotch.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of
course. One more for the road.
For taking, I mean, a good example would be, you're in the time of COVID now that, hey, a lot of the things that you maybe never thought about that, hey, you don't miss it till it's gone, right?
That's so usually the experience.
True when like things are taken away. You're like, man, you really appreciate those things.
You didn't know how much you liked it until
and you take those things for granted.
I've had that realization come to me.
So and me too. It's going out and doing going to the movies is something as simple as that. That used to be like, oh yeah, dude, you just go to the movies at any time you want. You could literally just drive there in the middle of the day and do it, or you could do that on the weekends. Or whatever. You take those things for granted, and then once it's taken away, and it's a very small example, but for a lot of folks, that have had things taken away like that, that could be really big, or that could be small in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, like doing those things like going to like Zion and Bryce Canyon and those things you always remember, and those will stick with you. And I'm like, it's one of those, not maybe once in a lifetime, you can still go do it, but like, those are very memorable things that like, okay, well, if I never did that, and that's always something I would want to do, and be like, man, I'd look back and be like, I wish I would have done those things.
Sure.
And then with the time of COVID now, and man, like, I can't go and travel now because there's lockdowns or quarantines or whatever, and makes things difficult. It makes you really kind of value like, man, that's something I took for granted before. That now looking forward, this is something I want to make a priority of. Like, hey, I want to go do these things because my scope of reference is now, so that I'm going to appreciate these things that maybe I took for granted once, that are going to be actually very valuable experiences, like you're saying with, hey, looking forward to being 21. Like, you're so excited about, man, like, I'm going to be able to do so much cool stuff. Like, like people always like, at 21, I can buy a beer.
Yeah.
And like, that's like one of those, I think for most people, it was like same thing with driving. Like, once you could get of age to drive, I feel like my life is going to change forever. And then the next day I woke up and I felt exactly the same. I had another piece of plastic next to me.
Yeah.
Walking around.
The newness wears off, I guess. Yeah.
So like, but having something taken away from you, like, I don't know, the situation like you're describing, like COVID and things like that, it makes you really appreciate those things.
And I started thinking about this. Like, we should take COVID seriously. I'm not saying that it's just not a cold.
I totally agree.
And and I'm really sympathetic of people who have lost people due to COVID. But I'm just saying that for the most part, we found out it's not as serious as that when it first came along. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
and I just wanted to clarify that.
Right.
I'm not.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. I just don't want to be a dickhead saying, "Oh, don't worry about COVID. It's no big deal."
But it's true with any. It's like you can say that with anything. Of like the flu can hit somebody super hard, and then some people just take a day, and it's just that depends. So,
and there's still a lot of people who still die just from the flu.
Right.
Yeah, and even small children. And I actually had I don't know if it's a step person. I don't. There's
extended family.
Yeah, extended family. There we go. That's a better word. But they caught the vid, and it also turned into almost like a double pneumonia thing, and so it was serious for them. And luckily enough, they recovered from it.
Right.
But it just still. But also, they were not also in the best of health too, because compared to lifestyle choices and things of that nature. But I think we are learning, though, this can prepare us for what if something else was to come about that's actually killing people. Like, the mortality rate is more than
like
50%. Thanos snaps his fingers and it knocks out half the people. Whereas this is like, for the most part, I have not known anybody personally who has passed away from it. But everyone, like I said earlier, that, they just got it. It seems like a cold or allergies.
Yeah, and that's one of the. I think
I just want to clarify that, everyone.
Yeah. I think that's why it's so scary for a lot of folks is that it could people just the not knowing, the fear of the unknown is like it's worse than the actual thing. Like in this, have you ever heard of that? Like the fear of the thing is not as bad as the actual thing.
I've heard before that everyone's always scared of what they don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Not the way you put it, but I've heard it.
Yeah, like
that
your
way.
brain is going to make it. Your mind is,
and I can relate to that.
Your
100%.
mind is going to make it build it up to be much worse or something like that. And I'm not discounting COVID. I'm just saying, like, for like the fear of COVID, maybe insert COVID, like of getting sick and having this disease that could potentially kill you, or it could be totally fine. That's such
you'd be
wide
asymptomatic
difference.
And you're fine.
Yeah, and like some people don't have symptoms, like you're saying, symptomatic. And then the next person could strike them down like a lightning bolt from heaven. So, it's hard to, with something that's so unknown, I think people will insert this like, well, shit, it could be me. I could be the one that, that's what, I could be in perfect health and then it, strike you down. And you just don't know. It's based on many factors.
That's what I was telling my mom the other day, that she had her chance to get her first shot.
Right.
And she asked me if I should get, or she should get it. And I told her, yeah. And she said, well, what if, and obviously she's reading all this random bullshit about how, what if
grow tails and stuff.
Yeah,
like that, right?
Gets two heads. And I was like, Mom, all right, let's say that you don't get it, the shot, and I don't get it either, but you do get COVID, and you're asymptomatic to it. And, and obviously Mom's not a CrossFitter. She don't work out or do, not to the extent of I do or anything, but that I get it, kind of what you're saying, whereas healthy-ish guy knocks me down and puts me into a hospital. And it's just because my body, just for
had a reaction to it, or
genetic reasons, factors, engineering, I don't know, just couldn't handle it. Even though that I thought I was doing everything to prevent it. It
Yeah,
didn't work.
just-
But yeah,
that's
because
how it
you just don't know. And that's I don't know if I may have went on a little tangent there, but or kind of misrepresentation of what you just said. But
No,
but yeah, but anyway, I told her to get the fucking shot. Just for you, you
Yeah,
should
yeah,
get
yeah.
it. Just because you're older, healthy or lifestyle. I don't know, but yeah, you're more predisposed than not predisposed.
higher risk, maybe.
Higher risk. There we go. Higher risk than for me, in my opinion, in my thoughts.
Yeah.
So she got it.
But yeah, I mean,
She hasn't grown a tail yet. Knock on wood.
I get my second one next week. Next
Yeah.
Wednesday. I'm going to talk about that, but I'm in the place that if it, and we talked about this with Sarah, and we at some point talked about, and there's this the rumor again, the unknown is what the worst part is. We talked about it, and at some point we're going to have kids, and then there had been some people are talking about how some people have we're not sure of hey, I'm trying to have kids later, would this affect that? And they're like, well, we just don't know. Well, it's oh man, don't know, just because
Just somebody just
it's
knows.
okay, we just don't, it's so early. And a lot of people were making that argument of which is legitimate. I'm not discounting. I'm just saying the speed in which the vaccine came out, and I know it's tested and all that stuff. I took the shot, so I'm not saying don't go get the shot.
Yeah, I'm not against the shot, but
I guess what I'm saying is that again, the unknown. We just don't know. And for a regular person like me, I don't know. For example, the flu shot has been around for a long time. It's been
correct,
and it's still people get the flu.
Yeah.
So then when you hear about potentially, hey, we don't know a lot of it's very early on. There's this new shot, and I'm sure when the flu shot came out, people were inject me with the virus. That doesn't sound like it. I'm not trying to sound dumb or anything like that.
But with the vaccine though, they're not shooting you up with the virus.
Right.
It's a protein, right?
Yeah, it's you get the
so
antibodies.
and that's the difference of the flu shot versus this one.
Version of the virus.
Correct.
But, in other words, some people have reactions and some people don't. And some people have had complications because of it. And I'm not. It's a very political issue now in the climate. But Sarah was reading articles read a ton about it. I was looking at it a bit, and they were saying that some people have reactions where it could impact down the road. You just don't know. So
long-term effects.
Yeah, long-term effects that you just don't know yet because everyone's different. So it's hard to say, oh yeah, you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna have any issues.
Yeah. Well, there was a small percentage of short-term effects. I've read a few Bell's palsy.
Right.
There was one person that I think, obviously, I get all my info from Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I know you're talking. Died.
Yeah, he died. I think he was in Florida. Then apparently Google and everybody tried hiding that, but if he went to a different web browser and
it showed up,
it would show up. But
that's a whole other ball of wax too. But
yeah. The higher elites of America trying to block that out as if you want to get real conspiracy theory, I guess.
Well, I had heard, I guess going back to what it seems that, we were well, some people have said that they at one point they had said if you're considering trying to have kids, you should avoid getting it. Or then it was then it changed to being all right, if you have a kid, you should avoid, or if you're pregnant, you should avoid taking it now. But it was that was when it was just coming out. The time that very early on when it's coming out, when they don't have a ton of research, they're saying they just don't know. So a lot of people are not sure. I don't want to put this in my body if I don't know what's going to happen to it. It's true for anything.
Well, that goes even to health reasons and stuff. Yeah, we're drinking scotch, and we were talking about eating terrible food either, but also, I'm not also going to put just random stuff into my body just because. But I don't know what 100.
I feel it,
supplements and stuff. I don't know exactly what this stuff is doing.
You trust that it is what it says it is, but could I have a bad reaction?
Exactly.
It's if someone has a peanut allergy. Did this come from a factory that says it doesn't have peanuts, but there's a chance that it could? I guess.
Yeah, and it's just so weird how everybody's body is just so different. Just in exactly what you're saying. I can eat, as far as I'm aware of, I can eat I was allergy tested. I'm not supposed to eat almonds, but I still do, and I've never had anything crazy. I've been said the same thing for tomatoes, but also if somebody touches a walnut or a Brazil nut, their throat closes up immediately, and it's fucking what the fuck? How's our bodies made this way?
Yeah, I guess my opinion is that like I can have this fear and this opinion and not at the same time. That does not mean that I don't think vaccines are legitimate.
Oh, I am pro-vaccination though.
I'm just
folks.
I'm not in the anti-vaccine. But you can have an opinion and be like, I'm concerned that hey, this could have some effects down the road. I just don't know about it. It's just they don't know yet because
they just don't fucking know because it's so new.
So like when
nobody knows.
Sarah and I were we talked about having a family and having kids later on, and like at one point they were like it could be risky for the mom, and then like they found out recently that it's probably riskier for the dad as far as like
I haven't heard that
some, like fertility issues, and then I was like that again. I've not like done
wait so. There is research saying that it could be riskier for the male.
I've heard that. I haven't done like a deep dive into it, but I've heard that people,
some overviews.
Some people have expressed concern in saying that I think it's actually probably safer for the mother to take it. Well, like there could be a risk for men, but again, that doesn't mean that your swimmers aren't going to swim if you take the shot. It just says that
there is a chance.
They think that there could be a risk. Now, that I'm not coming from a position of where I know. I haven't done like a ton of research on it, but again, there's just a lot of unknowns. So in my mind, we're thinking about like, man, should we get the, in the short term, yes, it'd be great to not get sick, but if I don't take the shot, does that affect my risk of maybe having kids later? And so and that's one of those things. That's like a big, that's a big thing. Like being, not able to have like kids because you took like the virus. Again, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I'm just saying like, if a year ago, I took this virus and then in 10 years or 5 years when I tried to have a kid, they're like, oh yeah, well you can't have kids now because you took the shot and you had a bad reaction to it. And we're like, that sucks. Like that's a hard pill to swallow, but that would be, I think, true for a lot of things. I don't know. I kind of rambling through it again, but
no, you're
does
not.
That kind of make sense.
Yeah, no, it makes 100%.
I'm not.
Because
just there's so many unknowns. So I feel it's a natural fear, just like we talked about the fear of the unknown. Just you don't know what's going to happen.
Because I did read an article the other day. I think it was The Hill who posted it, or I can't remember. But there was a baby actually born with a mom that actually had both vaccinations, but also the baby was born with the antibodies of
having for the COVID. Okay.
Yeah. But as you're saying though, that could just be that one, there was only one case that's been proven.
Right.
So nobody can see the future that I know of. Mm. So who's to say that what we're doing right now, then 5 years later, we shouldn't have fucking did that.
Right. Yeah, and that's a hard pill. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, but do you take a chance or do you not take a chance?
And in our case, we were like, well, both for our, we have family members that are higher risk. Like, my parents are higher risk, and do I want to give the chance of being the guy that gets them sick, going home to visit them at Thanksgiving, or that kind of thing? So I would prefer the ones that care about, or my loved ones, and make sure they're safe. And that means that if I get a chance to make it button it up, right, you know what I'm saying, like make sure that's a safe thing by me getting the vaccine, I'm gonna do that. But at the same time, you're like in the back of your head, and at least for me it was like I wish I almost would have not known about those things to say like, hey, there's some people are having some risks of or there's a chance, or here's some stuff, because that makes you just second guess yourself. But
immediately it's just unless it's 100% proven,
right? And
I'm immediately
shit.
Or wait, there's 99%. Like, what about that 1%?
Yeah, exactly. It's like
what happened there?
There's nothing that's there's nothing guaranteed in this life, but right, except death and taxes, right? But
death and taxes,
the old joke, right?
We're going to be born and we're going to die is what I thought. But death and
it's
taxes,
going to happen to everybody. It comes to everybody. But like it's like the fear, like the guy's talking about it, maybe like the fear of the unknown. It's like when you're a kid, were you ever afraid of the dark when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, I had to sleep with I had a lamp or something.
Like I like that. There was a period of my life that I was like just freaked out. Like
I had to sleep with the lamp on.
And like even if it was just like a hallway light or something like that, and it probably wasn't afraid of the dark. It was probably what was in the dark that you couldn't see. The fear of the unknown, not being able to see down that hallway, and being like your mind puts like a boogeyman.
It makes your mind will go fucking crazy.
Yeah, and your mind will put something there that thinks, oh my gosh, what's on the other side of that door? What's on the other side of that hallway in that dark? You know.
Well, and we also
like,
I think
we used to like go from the basement and like flip the light and run up the stairs.
These demons ain't getting me. Just run them. Like
fuckers aren't getting me.
Dude, because you went to my basement today, and that it used to be that way. Like my parents got that finished off, and I guess I was 6th, 5th. I don't remember what grade, but yeah, there's only certain light switches at this side and this side. Where the one is like immediately you can't see.
You like fucking you see
you're like,
going up the stairs.
I ain't going down there.
Ain't catching me.
Complete dark. But we talked about this in another podcast, though. But we've created these images or being scared of monsters or whatever just from our primitive instincts, I guess.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, okay.
Like with the spiders and like the
because people were scared of the dark. Of like, I think I said cats, which is like I meant like tigers and jaguars.
Yeah, big cats.
Big cats. Yeah, but sleeping at night, and I think that's we talked about genetic memory and stuff, and it's the same thing.
Right.
It's like, we're sleeping at night. We don't know what the fuck's around these corner, and like some of them, or I think most animals can see in the dark.
Right. A fair animal. I know, like a lot of.
Can dogs see in the dark?
I think they have better night vision than we do.
Well, some of them are hunting dogs, so
I think they just have better eye. Like they could. And
hey, can you see in the dark? Oh, okay.
Bark twice. If you
but blink twice if you're in Milwaukee.
Well, like, but I mean, like cats have a better night vision than like humans do.
Yeah, I mean and then there's a lot of animals who hunt at night and stuff
like that are nocturnal predators. Yeah, that are designed.
So I mean, going on what you said though, that's the reason most young kids are scared of the dark because I mean, a young person can't defend themselves, and then when you watch, I think you follow it, Nature versus Metal.
Nature is Metal.
Nature is Metal.
Fucking same thing.
Yeah, dude. And you see like animals just carrying off cubs or little small babies, and it gives you and it says, X percentage of wild babies can only survive so far in their life until they make it to adulthood.
Yeah, and it's different from watching BBC World. Where, like everything is like, oh, look at these two fish that are swimming
they
together.
swim together.
Yeah, and like on the other side, it's like they're all getting eaten by each other, right? Whatever.
Did you see that?
It's not all Finding Nemo.
The meme the other day, I don't know if I can't remember if I sent it to you, but it's one of those stupid ones I sit there and just laugh at like an idiot. But it's been scientifically proven that an octopus will just punch a fish just because of out of spite or something, and then it had a thing over like an octopus like fuck them fish. And it's like what? An octopus will just punch one randomly?
Just scratchy, man.
It's what it seemed like, and I don't know. I was just. I don't know where I was going. I was not going anywhere with that.
The big cat. You're talking about the big cats. It's natural. It's like, you're not afraid of the dark. You're afraid of that big cat that is hanging out in the tree.
Yeah, there is something that's going to fucking get me.
I hate heights. It's not like I'm afraid of the height. I'm afraid of falling off that high thing.
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, even not just big cats, but like you said, spiders,
right?
Fucking snake. I mean, you just never know what's crawling up next to you.
Right, if you live in Australia, all the things that want to kill you, right?
Yeah, you go camping. I mean, that's serious camping out there.
Like I can't remember which show it was I was watching, where they make a circle around their campsite so that like they put like a specific thing around the campsite to prevent like spiders or snakes, or I can't remember what it was, but they were like in the Amazon or something like that. And they're like, we make like the specific mark around that. Maybe it was like a line, or they put like some kind of like something to deter like snakes or spiders from crawling into their camp, because there's so many things that you could die from if you got bit, but you're in the Amazon, you ain't getting any venom because the hospital is 50 miles away, 100 miles away, 150 miles away. So it's not necessarily the fear of getting bit. It's the fear of not being able to make it after getting bit, right?
Yeah, like what do you do after that? Right. Unless you have a medical person there, or
you happen to have the antivenom, but
I know on the meat eaters, guys, when they hang meat and stuff, I think they actually put electrical grid kind of around.
Okay.
I've seen it. Or they do something to try to prevent bears from coming in
to mess with it,
taking the meat they have hanging while they're camping. So I guess it could be something. I mean, I'm sure in Amazon they don't have an electrical grid, but I mean, it's probably hooked up to a car battery.
Take precautions to do that, so that
you have to do something. I mean, what if some fucking monkeys or something come in there, right?
Right, nature is metal. So if you're out there and you're no longer on the top of the food chain, you're fair game. But
I don't know, man. It's wild to think about.
So yeah, and then I guess the fear. That's like the fear of just not knowing, or the fear of
I think it's a lot of it's unknown.
Failure, unknown. Yeah, man, it's just scary because your brain can't handle what it doesn't know.
Yeah, I mean, you see so many
human thing.
Horror movies and stuff, and you flip off the lights or whatever, and you're complete darkness,
and Jason Voorhees is behind you,
and
so all of a sudden,
and then all of a sudden, oh, you're dead. But I mean, I don't know. It's just it's wild to think. I guess there's so much that we think we know about the brain, but we also don't know about the brain.
It's like have you ever seen those things where you read the sentence and then like you go and then like at the end it's like go back and look at the sentence and the words are all jumbled up, but your brain
automatically knew it.
So like your brain is interpreting these things faster than you can maybe subconsciously it's doing it, but you're not.
Yeah, you automatically read the line and you thought it was 100% correct, but then
your brain fixed the parts that were broken.
Correct, right. And then it tells you to go back and look at it. Then you actually. That stuff is broken now.
Right. And then you're like,
fuck, they fucked that word up.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like, that's word spelled wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. Like,
yeah. And that's wild to think about, too.
Yeah, your brain just fills in the holes. And that's like how you survive, though. But like how your brain adapts to like whatever it fills in the spots. But,
Well, I mean, isn't that one of the parts, or scientists will think that's how we, how human species evolved, is that, we started eating meat or that we stone ape theory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you go on Joe Rogan thing. But but anyway, our brain started growing in sizes for whatever reason. Right. We randomly stood up and started picking fruit out of a tree. And this is probably the scotch talking right now. Now I'm talking about this. But yeah, and then our brains just just started growing. And that's why we started getting smarter. And
yeah, or like we were able to, create or change, like obviously evolve, adapt, and change. So instead of being like heavily reliant on like something as basic as I just hit something over the head with a club to kill it, rather than I know how to grow this food to so if I can't club this thing over the head, I can still survive.
Well, it's almost been proven that human species did start in Africa.
Oh yeah, have you heard that? That's like where essentially they have traced it back to. Yeah. So it's just wondering how we got from point A to point B. I listen to a lot of history podcasts too that are not Joe Rogan. Hard to believe.
How dare you?
Don't tell him. If he's listening, don't tell him.
Sorry, Joe.
But like they were talking about how it'd be like it's called bro history. Bro history, like BRO, like bro, like bro history. And it's two dudes that are literally doing exactly what we're doing. They sit there and they drink and they talk about a podcast. They do a lot of research on it and they're very well read. And they're smart dudes. You can tell like when they're talking.
Oh, so that's the part we're missing. We're not well read and doing research.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I can read.
All right. So
how well I can read.
We may have found a key to this.
So
we need to research more.
So it's like maybe I said this earlier. It's like I think if someone is someone who's very very smart and very very sharp, or they are like the master of something, and I don't know if they're masters, but if someone can take something really complicated and make it seem very easy and like make it in, have you ever heard of that?
Like very dumb it down for
taking a massively complicated thing and explain, the whole explain to me like I'm 5. If you can do that on something that's massive scale and just explain to it in the simplest terms, you have a complete grasp of the subject. Which is
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Right? Yeah.
But
I don't know if you know about this about me, but I solve equations.
Oh, yeah, part-time?
Sometimes at MIT. They're written on a board. And I'll just go
love
up
apples.
I go up there and solve them and just come back home.
But so like when these guys do this podcast, it's very casual listening to. Like it's very easy to listen to them talk. It's not like, oh yeah, they're explaining this high level theory of how humans got to this, and there's all this like extra data, and hey, we're looking at these studies. It's more of like a very conversational. Like if you were talking to someone at a bar, they're like, all right, so this is how this group of people got here. They think it's because there was a land bridge. Oh, a land bridge. What's a land bridge? A land bridge is just a piece of land that's covered by water now. That wasn't at one point. And it's like,
is it the Russia and Alaska?
Yeah. And they were talking about like the one I was listening to was like the title of the episode was like the origin or the invention of like the Japanese people. Like how did these people get on that little island? Compared to like, okay, humans started in Africa, right? So how did people from Africa end up
all over the world?
Yeah, if that's truly where everything started, how did people get across the massive stretches of ocean that end up where they're ending up? So they, I'm not saying that they're masters, but the way that the podcast is laid out, it's like explains in a very simple terms because that works for me. Simple guy.
I agree.
Simple guy.
I like
so it'd
that
be
stuff.
like, hey, this is how we think it happened, and then they'll like very clearly, in few words, say this is how we think it happened. This is how all the research happens. They'll say, so, this is how it happened. This is how we think it happened. Moving on to the next thing. So it's not like very very like complicated, and like they're not saying 5 words when they can say it in 3 words. If that makes kind of
I get you 100%.
So yeah, that and I think it's interesting, and I'm losing my train of thought now. So I wish I would have been able to gather some of that.
That was good stuff.
But going from like how people got from, I guess I was thinking about the podcast where people got from Africa, they got to Japan, or how like people from Africa got to this island, or if that's where we all originated from. Like it's amazing to think about how people got to where they got, and like maybe at one point, like I said, there was a land bridge where someone was able to just walk across, but now it's under a mile of ocean or something like that.
Yeah,
but
no, because that's scientifically proven there was one there.
Like,
but
which is crazy to think. I don't know.
There's an island, and I don't know if it's in between Africa and Europe or what. And I can't think of the name of it for myself, but it's a complete different, I don't want to say species of people, but another culture of people that have closed off everything to the outside world.
Is this in the North Sentinel Island?
North Sentinel Island.
Yeah, it's like
that sound,
Africa and India or something like that. It's in
Africa and India sounds correct.
Mediterranean, right? Because that's in.
But yeah, they won't allow outside worlds in. But if you come there, if you go into that place,
try to kill you.
Yeah,
right?
you're dead. So it's just fucking weird.
So it's like a time capsule, right? A living time capsule.
Yeah, there's no telling what theories and ideologies they're going off of, and I guess they have no electricity or anything.
Oh, they can't. I mean, I guess if they're living like that,
yeah, but no connections to the outside world besides whatever they're just seeing right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wonder if somebody had to go in there and figure it out.
I've actually listened. It's interesting you bring that up because I've actually listened to a couple podcasts about that. Just randomly, it'll be like, hey, like this,
North Sentinel
Island.
North Sentinel Island.
But yeah, but like they had people a while back. There was like a history podcast where I listened to a lot about history podcasts. But they were like they had people try to go to the island, and then they all either like someone got to the island but was eventually killed. Or like this, like they kept sending people in there, and they kept either kept getting killed, or like, they don't know how it started, but they think at some point like someone who was from like Europe came over and tried to colonize, or not colonize. That's not a way to say it, but
like a settlement.
Yeah, or like they tried to like essentially like establish like hey, we're gonna
make this a
spot
world
here, yeah, and then like either they had an argument, or like there was a disagreement, or like. One of them got sick, like, how, like when in the Americas, it's like a lot of the native populations got sick from diseases that were exclusively in Europe, because they had never been exposed to that. Whereas Europe was such a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
It's like a time capsule, and then you go from here to here, and if this people have never had this sickness before, it just ravages through them. It's like COVID. No one's ever had it before. So it's very, I think it was smallpox is what they were doing or something like that. It was the one that they were infected with, that they didn't have any antibodies for that. So it just wiped everybody, just like fucked everyone up because they didn't have any antibodies for that. They weren't exposed to that. Whereas if you were exposed to it in Europe, you probably had family or someone that had antibodies or immunity, or you developed an immunity by living there for years and years.
And probably herd immunity too, I guess. Right?
Yeah, and then going to a new place, if you've never had experience of that, you're pretty much screwed. So they think, hey, it could have been that. Like this guy comes to the island, coughs on somebody, and then now they get sick and die, and they're like, well, in our religion or in our lifestyle, that is, this means this or this means that, or or like obviously my brother died because this guy came to the island. That means that's shit. Like, all right, anybody that comes to the island, we're gonna fucking kill him because we don't want to die.
Didn't they do that in Ace Ventura 2? That they didn't know about disease and stuff, and he walks in there and goes, "Hatch!"
Yeah, sneezes all over.
Yeah, they're like get scared. But that
film.
Oh man,
I think it's on Turner Classic Movies. I don't know if it's still running.
Dude, it should have won a Grammy. All right, hold on.
Oscar.
Switch or Oscar. We're kind of might be switching gears here. Might need to start taking this one home, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but anyway, real quick though, just a thought when we're talking about switching gears and Oscars and Grammys and disease and stuff. Well, this has nothing to do with disease.
Disease.
Bill Burr, he was on.
Oh, Bill Burr, yeah.
Grammys, Oscars.
Oh, yeah, and the Grammys, yeah.
And now everyone wants to cancel him again.
Yeah,
because
they said that woman's name wrong.
He said the woman's name wrong, and he did say something about. He came out and did almost. He was trying to do a bit,
right?
He's
not very politically correct.
Correct, and if people don't know, he's kind of he's not very politically correct. He almost has he comes off as an angry comedian, I guess.
That's like his personality.
Yeah, a Boston
this pissed
street
me off.
guy. But he comes out and he said something. There's a piano solo, and he goes, "Did anybody want to kill themselves to that? Or just me?" And instantly, almost wanted to get canceled.
Yeah,
but if you go watch any of his previous stand-ups and stuff, that's.
Yeah.
And I watched his other one, Paper Tiger, and he does it in, is it London? It's in England or something. I forgot what city, but he comes off and goes, everyone says America's fat, but it's not like you guys are really in shape either, or something along those lines.
Yeah, he's like, I'm looking out in the crowd, and I think y'all are full of shit.
Yeah, it's just, that's his comedy style.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to switch gears as hard, but something just sparked that thought in my head. It was just like, damn.
Because people try do you remember when he did SNL and he made all these jokes?
They
tried to do that to them.
He did a Rick Moranis joke about getting punched in the face, didn't he?
And he made all these other jokes that people were like clutched their pearls, like, oh my gosh, I can't remember, but that, and everything is so political now. And
do you think comedians are getting hit harder
during the pandemic or just in general?
For cancel culture.
I think so. I mean, like a good example would be Tom Segura.
Yeah.
Like he had a bit about how you can't say specific words anymore.
Okay.
Do you remember him talking about that?
Yeah.
So like they took what he said out of context. And
I didn't hear what people said about.
So they were like, oh, he used this word as like a, or in this bit, the whole point of the bit was that you can't say this word anymore because it's offensive. And then he would tell jokes based on like, hey, some things that you are like you can't make fun of are like that you can't make fun of are actually funny, or I'm not doing him justice right now, so someone who's listening could go look it up. But essentially, they took the parts that they wanted to and like only focused on like, hey, he said this, so we have, he's got to get canceled because of that. And he's like, well, if you actually listen to the bit from the beginning to the end, he actually agrees with what you're saying that you shouldn't say it. Yeah. And he's making fun of the fact that, people who say that or pay, and I don't know, it's kind of, I'm not doing a good job of explaining it. But in other words, the long and short of it is they took what he was saying out of context. They didn't look at the whole thing. So it'd be like taking an entire paragraph and reading the first sentence and being like, oh, I know exactly what the guy said. Mm-hmm. No, you don't. You only read the first sentence. In the beginning, there was light. Oh, I got it. I got the rest.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, that was what it was. And I think people were just like, they want to have a cause to jump against when they don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at, is that a lot of comedians, maybe not a lot, but most comedians will say fucked up stuff just to get reactions out of people. And even though if they don't truly believe it, they'll make it into a joke, and because they will get a lot of reactions out of it. I mean, all right. For example, today I've seen memes all over Instagram of Joe Biden falling down those steps.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Or he tripped or whatever. And now he's getting mocked over the internet. Like, there was my favorite one. There's Mario in his Mario Kart, or in his go-kart. And he's it says 3, 2, 1, go. Like they're playing Mario Kart. He rides up and he's throwing banana peels out at Joe Biden while he's tripping. Like, but, I guess nothing. I mean, I don't want to get as political or anything. But that's just some of the type of humor. I mean, it's just funny.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
It's not political. It's just
okay. He fell. Everybody falls downstairs. We're humans. We're not perfect. It happened. I've tripped. I've been in front of my boss before. He's like, "You all right?" And I'm like, "God, I'm an idiot." Like, I don't fall down or trip. But anyway,
I think it's interesting. Like with guys like Bill Burr, like they are unapologetic. They're like, "No, that's not what I meant." And if you guys take it that way, that's your own problem.
He's making a bit. He's trying to be funny.
Yeah, he's trying to make people laugh.
Go look back and look at who's the big comedian? God, why would
Louis C.K.?
Well, not only him, but even before him, the main guy. God, black guy, and not Eddie Murphy. Almost an Eddie Murphy. Or we can use Eddie Murphy as an example.
What was he in?
What was Eddie Murphy in?
No. What was the guy? Who's the comedian you were talking about? I'm trying to think of. What was he in?
70s.
Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor. There we go. That's what I wanted. And he said some fucked up stuff too. I mean, but that's just part of their bits.
Right.
And I don't know. I guess what I'm getting at is that, I don't really know what I'm getting at, is that it's almost getting too far in this, and that we shouldn't just. They're making jokes, and I don't think they truly mean it, but halfway maybe mean it.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this thought. I think I'm just trying to say
they're comedians.
They're trying to be funny.
They're trying to be funny
at other people's cost,
and it's one of those where like,
if you don't want to watch it, turn it off.
I very, very highly doubt that Bill Burr hates that everyone in the crowd that they think everyone should go kill themselves after listening to that.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
He laughed and he was trying. It was
a joke.
Yeah, it was a pure joke.
If and if people are taking everything so literal, like, oh,
that's
my gosh,
what I'm trying to say. Don't take that literally.
No, and I agree with you. Some of it's like you listen to it and like the whole cancel culture and stuff like that, and like trying to cancel people over making a joke. Like, are you serious? Like, he's a comedian. That's what he does.
He probably really didn't think that. He just thought in his head it would be funny.
Yeah,
and which he probably I'm a Bill Burr fan, and I got a chuckle because it's almost when you and I or Trevor or Lance or whoever's around, and we're talking about a workout or something. It's like, I'd kind of rather go take a toaster bath than do this workout. I see it as on the same lines.
Yeah, it's a joke. Maybe it's not for everybody, but that doesn't mean that that's not funny for someone else, right?
Yeah. So, but he's still in business, and he's obviously not got canceled. But I don't know. It just seems like they keep trying to cancel him.
I think you could almost think of it as a different of like trying to control what people are saying, and I think that's what a lot of people don't like about that argument. Like, hey, like if you're trying to cancel him because he said that. Well, then what is the next thing you're going to cancel someone for saying? because you find this offensive, it offends you personally, but it's funny for all these other people when it's even taken out of context and all these. So I mean, there's just so many things. Like I'm not trying to get political or anything.
Yeah, see, I didn't want to go down that road, but
it just seems that it's like.
But it was on my radar.
It's a joke. He's not. It's not like he hates anybody in the crowd. It's not like he hates like Bob right there in the front row. Like, Bob, kill yourself. No, it doesn't. You know, I mean. Yes, there could be a person out there, but they're probably not doing stand-up, telling jokes, doing that, right?
Nah.
You know, I think most people are, are. I think most people, the average person, doesn't give two shits about that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think two shits about it. I just think that he tried making a joke, it failed,
right?
And now people want to. I mean, I probably snickered at it too. I don't know. I didn't hear the piano solo, but if it was something along. Something that I could relate to, I probably would have chuckled at it. But yeah, I think it's he tried doing something funny and it didn't work.
And that's okay.
Yeah, they bombed. They even admit they bombed.
Yeah. And
comedians.
I think people love to hate stuff. And we talked about it before of like there's just so much negative stuff now. Like you can't go on like.
It's cool to be negative.
It's like I hate the same things this guy hates, and I don't know, like. There's such a negative stream, like with, when was it? Yeah, we talked about it, like with Andy Stumpf. He's like, you look at any news channel, and how much negative stuff comes from that. It's always
because they can just feed off people from it.
It's all because there's a part of the brain that for whatever reason, people are not going to like the story of like a guy that runs in, or like an example would be like, hey, there's a news story of a guy that runs in and saves a puppy from a burning building. Oh, that's a great story. No, people really want to hear about how Britney Spears is, being locked up and all this negative. She's losing her mind, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's
people want to hear the bad stuff. They want to hear about this person's life is all fucked up, or this person's having this, or I don't know. It's just weird. The
negativity draws in people.
Yeah,
more.
And then I think by extension, like all the social media stuff, and that's just like it bleeds out to that. There's just so much negative stuff. You look at the news, which is like I don't want that negativity in my life. But like it's not like don't believe in information. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying like I would not sit down and get any enjoyment of watching CNN, Fox, CBS, NBC because it's all negative.
No, it's just a toxic thing for your brain.
Stuff like that. Yeah, it's just like it's all just negative.
It's toxic information, and it just sucks you into. All right, I'm negative too now. Fuck me.
And if you just absorb that, you're gonna it's like the people say like you're a culmination, or you're a combination of all the people that you're around. Right? Have you heard that before?
I've heard like you're the average of the 5 people, or the 5 people you hang out with the most.
So if you're the average, and 7 out of your 9 friends are all negative, you're
most
probably
likely
one of those negative people. And that's just the way I see it.
And I agree 100% because I probably shouldn't say this on here, but I know a person that's super negative in their life, and that when it starts happening to me, I'll tell you off the air, but starts falling in on me, then I'm almost like, fuck that too. Then, and it's so.
That's just the way
addicting.
We're wired.
It's almost like venom, and it just starts fueling into your body, and it's just cause I don't know. It's just so easy to be that way.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I've known people that are like that, and like it's happened. I've been negative at some point in my life.
I think it's just human.
Natural.
It's human nature. It's going to happen.
But like.
Not everybody can be 100% positive.
Yeah, if you constantly have that negative stream, man, it's just hard to.
Yeah, it's just hard to be around people like that. And I get it. Some people, we all have bad days. Right. We all do. Everyone's got problems.
Right. But we're on the same page in that, if you are constantly exposed to that, you're more likely to be negative.
Yeah.
But like if you're around people that are positive and uplifting, or hey, I'm going to go to this comedy club and I'm going to laugh at these jokes. Where if you go to this comedy club and like he better not say anything about pianos. If you already go into it and you have this negative view, you're gonna. It's almost like you're looking for a fight. You're looking for something to be pissed off about it. Yeah. So,
anyway,
I don't think it's worth the stress. I don't think it's. Anyways, but yeah.
No. Well, I think we should take it home from there, man. Like, don't be negative.
Right.
Be positive. Surround yourself
Good
with good
vibes
people.
only, right,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
let's end this on a good note.
Good vibes only. That's right.
Yeah, good vibes only. Surround your people with like James Chilton. Hang out with you and talk to you and give you scotch and
Gonna make me blood. Oh shucks.
and make you better than what you were yesterday or something, right?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
All right. Anything else you want to?
Oh man, well thanks for having me over again.
Bro.
This is good. How long? We were talking?
I kind of looked down at my phone at one point and I was like, we've been. I started having.
My goodness. Well, what was the?
I think.
What was the saying that Joe doesn't like you if you're on a podcast for?
That's somebody called him out and said that if you because most of us average around 3 hours,
Right.
but if you're there for 2, usually he didn't
don't
like
like
you.
it. This is a long one, man. This will be good though. In other words, I had a great time. I didn't look at the clock or anything, but we've been talking for a long time.
No, let's take it home because
man.
Yeah, we're good then. Anything else you want to say?
Oh,
I think
we talked about a lot of stuff. That's cool.
All right. Yeah, we hit on the good subjects tonight. Could have been a lot of scotch. Good scotch. Good times.
I thought it was good.
Good
Like
vibes. Yeah, it was good, man. I was ready to. I kept wanting to spill me another drink.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
man.
no, stop,
Yeah.
dude, stop. We'll talk the rest of the night. We'll try to break Joe Rogan's record. 5
here we go.
hours. No. All right. I love you 3000.
Love you 3000.
Okay. Bye, folks.